It's time to turn your great idea into reality with Squarespace, because Squarespace is making it easier than ever to launch your passion project. What are you doing? You showcasing stuff? You selling stuff? Hey, the web is the answer. I just made that up. You can easily make a website all by yourself with Squarespace's beautiful templates. And if you do get stuck, they got 24/7 award-winning customer support right there to help you out. Head to squarespace.com/bombcast for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use the offer code BOMBCAST to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Hello! Oh, it's Tuesday. Hi. What is it? It's September 7th. Shit. Never forget.
Sorry.
The lights went out.
In Georgia.
That's yeah, see, that's literally you. That song could happen to you now. Be careful.
Oh.
Vicki Lawrence is going to show up and shoot you. I'm Jeff Gerstmann. Welcome to the show. Jason A. Stryker is here.
Hello.
Safe for now.
Here I am. Yes. For now. That's not ominous or anything.
No, definitely not. I mean, see, you invoke the night the lights went out in Georgia. It's just, there's nothing good can happen of it.
I know.
Janet Show is here as well.
Out there earlier today, too.
So. Wasp. Okay, yeah. Well, that's...
Yeah.
Oh, Jason, run from the wasps.
I did.
Oh,
I hobbled away.
Yeah, you don't want to...
My little 9 toes could take me.
That's the Hey, we had a wasp nest out back at the old house for a little bit, and we dealt with it, but it was just like that moment of just like, oh,
How did you deal with it? Do they go to sleep at night? I heard they go to sleep at night, and that's when
they
you
go to
spray
sleep
them.
Yes.
Bugs go to sleep?
Yeah, bugs have to sleep too.
Huh. Didn't know that.
And the heat is, I don't know, they make hay while the sun shines. I don't know, just like lizards. Danny O'Dwyer back in the U.S.
What up? How you doing? I
Yo,
lived in the ultimate wasp nest, London.
Yeah,
Are there wasps?
Do they go to sleep at night out there? Or?
Yeah, those white Anglo-Saxon Protestants are just 24/7, man. You cannot...
Buzzing.
Yep, you gotta buzz my way out of there to the land of the free.
Is that why the pubs close so early? Is that still the case? I haven't been to London in probably 15 years or no, it's been like probably like a decade or more at this point. And the only thing I remember is like, man, why do all these bars close at like 11 or something? This is stupid.
Yeah, I had trouble with that in Ireland because I was on weird jet lag Ireland time where it was pretty great. We had our kid was on a 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. cycle, which was perfect because we got to sleep in the morning. And also in Ireland, like the sun sets super late because it's so north. So it was great. But the problem was once I got her into bed, especially when we were staying in like hotels and different, I was like, all right, I got to go down to the bar downstairs. And then like, it's like last orders at 10:30. And I'm like, what? What is this? They save us from ourselves there, Jeff. That's the reason, I think.
That just feels like it inspires people to that doesn't save anyone. That instead that sets up the situation of just like, well, we're definitely not done. So we need to go to like an off license or whatever and get as many cases of beer or whatever as we need to get all this buckfast and then go back to someone's apartment, right? I mean,
yeah. I kept my eye out as well. I didn't actually have any Bucky while I was home.
Oh,
I was like, will I do a giant bomb video while I'm here? And then I was like, no, I'm just gonna fucking relax and see my family for the first time in 2 years.
Danny. Good for you.
And drink my weight in Guinness. It was great. It was good times. Barely played a video game. Played some Mario Golf so I could relearn which clubs to use because then I went and played golf with my dad. So it was educational. Didn't help very much.
Did your dad turn into like a giant bullet bill and just beat you down the course?
Yeah, it turns out you can't do the special move to land the ball where you want to. But Yeah, it
Should have
was.
played
it was
some Cyber
a good
Tiger
time.
instead. That probably would have.
Wait, is that what it's called?
Cyber Tiger for the N64. Yeah, it's Tiger Woods golf game.
That must have been like incredibly early in his career, right? N64.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but they had been making Tiger games for a little bit at that point, I want to say, because they had gotten to a point. Oh, I guess it came out for PlayStation as well. But 1999 is when Cyber Tiger came out.
Okay.
It's like the prime of his career. Not prime of his career, but like early highlights, right?
Yeah.
Must
I want a Cyber Tiger. Who wouldn't want a Cyber Tiger?
Exactly.
Especially a younger version of him as well.
Yeah.
I'm just not that into him. I just don't want to cyber with him.
All right. Well, he wants to cyber with you.
Doesn't do it for me.
Use the
And
code.
he's going to use an N64 to do it.
Use the Lara Croft naked cheat, and it works in Cyber Tiger too.
Do you have
Just
that? I know they
drive
only
on it.
gave that to people in the UK. They wouldn't allow Americans to have it. I know it's a closely guarded secret.
I think the Queen has it. Is that she's the only one that's allowed?
Damn it.
So you have
Damn
to.
it.
Yeah. Prince Philip.
I've been
big
Googling
fan.
for it for years. I've been Alta Vistaing it for a very. I've been
Asking Jeeves.
asking Jeeves for this for a very long time. I can't think of Ask Jeeves without thinking of an old roommate of mine that she had a friend who thought it was pronounced Jeev-Vess, and so at one point she said,
son
like,
of a
"Well, I went
bitch.
to Ask Jeev-Vess, and no one knew what she was talking about." And I was like, "What the fuck is it, Jeev-Vess?"
Do you remember Michael Powers, who used to be the head of?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I do.
CBS Games. Yes.
Yeah.
Michael Powers. I think me and Alexis were having drinks with him when he first joined to just get to know him. And he told me that he killed Jeeves.
What?
He was running Ask.com when they killed Jeeves.
Right.
Oh,
Okay.
God damn.
I thought he admitted to murder.
Well,
He
I
did.
mean,
Basically.
Cyber murder.
he murdered a household name.
Yeah.
That's arguably
Jeeves.
worse than a real person.
Yeah, took Jeeves out back and emptied one into him. Like that's
How many bullets are in this gun, Jeeves? Bam! Just one.
just one. It's all we needed, Jeeves. I got rid of speaking of dead web properties, I stole 2 letters from the My Simon logo, which was in the GameSpot office in the mid 2000s or whatever. And well, I guess Tim Tracy, I think, technically stole the letters, but he just stole the Y and the O. So we just had a big yo
It's good.
from like the My Simon logo or whatever it was. And I just got rid of them when I was moving. Like I had them this long in the garage, but they just had gotten so rotten, and it was like styrofoam. So just over the years, it just kind of gotten gross and eaten away. And I was like, all right, yo, it's time to go.
Oh,
I think somewhere else there's somebody with the rest of the letters hoping that they'll find the other 2 in a
someday,
box.
Right, and stumble upon the rest. I also have, and this made the move with me, I have a big video game spot banner that is probably as wide as this room. This is like way too big that someone came to my desk within the last 5 or 7 years. I forget who now. It's like, hey, I found this. Do you want it? You're the only person old enough to even know what this is. And I was like, yeah, I guess so.
It's like an E3 thing or something.
It might have been something that was used at some E3 at some point. I don't remember, but I should get that out and put it up somewhere. I don't know.
Front of your
You need a
house.
backdrop.
Yeah, put it out front. Let the neighbors know. I have moved to a neighborhood where the neighbors talk to each other, and it's weird.
is it like good weird?
Do they
It's-
wave
yeah,
to
it's
one
nice.
another
I mean,
too
yeah,
as you're
no,
driving by?
Yes, yeah, it's like
Yep,
because
one
we're
of those.
the new people in the neighborhood, and so people have been coming by and saying hi. Like I've been out front working, throwing stuff away, and whether we were unloading trucks or now I have a dumpster out front that I've been throwing things into to further clean up. And just people are just stopping by and saying hi. I feel like I've talked to more neighbors over the last 10 days than I did over the last 10 years.
Oh,
Yep.
Very different feeling. But
Yeah. We were moving
nice.
in and we had one of our neighbors come by and introduce themselves. And it's like, okay, This is going to be a recurring thing now. All right.
One of our neighbors
you ever-
brought us pizza. It was very nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unorthodox.
We had one of our neighbors bring us barbecue because they heard that I was sick and in the hospital. They're like, well, these people need barbecue.
Yeah.
Did you get a sense of the worrying thing is always who were the people before you? Like, were they cool? And that they're kind of like low-level pissed that you are the replacements, or were those people dirtbags and they're like, thank God, some cool people.
One of the things we heard as we were trying to buy this home was that the people here liked the neighbors and wanted to find someone who was a good fit.
Oh wow, okay.
And so that played some amount of that maybe played a role in
Did you have
some
to
of
write
this.
the letter? Did you write the letter?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh man, the letter. I hate
Picture
the
of the
letter.
baby, all that stuff. Yeah.
Oh,
definitely.
yeah. That's how you get them. The baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that, I mean, yes. Yeah. We wrote a letter saying like, hey, here's who we are and that sort of stuff. It wasn't like,
Nice.
and they wrote an owner's manual for the home.
Wow.
Because there's a lot of stuff here that now I'm still kind of sifting through it a little bit because it's not quite as easy to dig through. But it was stuff like, hey, we've got these 3 lights up here are Hue lights. They're Bluetooth lights. So if you download the app and do that, you can control them that way. This
They
is the
left
make
them.
and model of they left them. They left a lot of Nest smoke detectors and a Nest
Oh,
thermostat,
man.
which I had all that stuff in the other house. So like, it was just a matter of just like, I already know how to do all that stuff.
Syncing those up is the biggest pain in the ass, right? Because you have to pull them out of the ceiling to like scan the back thing and do all that.
Yes, and the thing I discovered is that they went with the ones that wire into the house wiring and not the battery powered ones. So I just pulled into like, oh, there's like 9 wires hooked into this. Oh God, what have I done? And then had to go about it that way. The thing I have not figured out, there's a couple of things I haven't figured out. One, there's a smart lock on the front of the house that's like a open with your phone or a key. That I have a replacement for because apparently that one was starting to fail. So they bought a replacement and just left it in the house. I'm like, okay, well now I got to do this at some point. I have not done that yet. And there's also a Ring video doorbell.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily, I am into the idea of a video doorbell. But Ring being all like, what if we shared all this stuff with the cops? I'm like, not so into that. But I did start, but it's been acting weird. So like you push the button on it and it makes a little noise that lets you know that yes, you've pushed the button, but then the doorbell inside the house sometimes rang and sometimes didn't. And I don't know why. And so I was like, well, I need to start trying to figure out how to get to the bottom of this. And I guess that means going and downloading the Ring app and signing up for a Ring account and going through all of that process to figure out how to pair this to my name and all this other crap that I kind of don't want to do.
Blood type and
yeah. And I started going down that road only to realize like it wants me to yank that thing off completely to scan a QR code on the back of it, but it is mounted quite well.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay. So now I'm like watching videos on how to take a doorbell off. So that I can look at it and put it back on. And then I was like, I'm going to do this tomorrow. I've hit my limit on this. But I did go through the process of signing up for the app and all that other stuff. And now I'm getting like next door style updates like there's a lost pet in your neighborhood. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I hate this. I hate this so much. Oh, I hate this so much.
And if you live in an urban area, then the stuff that it tells you could be happening like 3 miles away. Like,
yeah.
And you don't care, and it's not like shit that's happening on your street or the one over. It's like, oh, a car got broken into like down the road. And it's like, yeah. I live in Oakland. No shit.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. A friend of mine, a former roommate of mine, lives in Sacramento. And he said one of the first things he did was download some kind of crime app. And that he is using it to like every morning he wakes up and goes like, where was the home invasion today? Oh, 3 blocks away? Okay, cool. All right. Well, they're getting closer anyway. And he got jumped on a bike path by someone who ran at him with some like a crankshaft or some kind of car parts or something like.
God damn.
Sack is hot right now.
That's right. Everyone loves a hot
Sure
sack.
Pretty warm.
So yeah, I don't know. So that's been like the homeowner-y type stuff that I've been trying to do. But like, man, we're fucking unboxing stuff and not finding things. And it's getting to the point where I'm running out of boxes to open up. And there's some stuff that I think might just be gone, like the charger for my electric toothbrush, which is we'll have to replace at some point.
That's
but more
cool.
importantly, I think I talked about this. My computer, the PC that I bought with the 3090 in it and all that stuff, has fans on the top of it, and covering that was a plastic grate. And on the back of that plastic grate fits into the top of it. And at the back of the case, it looks like it's a handle. It looks like something you could pick it up with. And I did this myself of like, time to pick up this computer, and
Pop it off.
and you
Yeah.
pop that whole panel off and you're like, oh, fuck. So I put it all back on and then didn't think of it. And then, the movers had to move it because I had a car full of baby stuff. Like everyone's like, I can't believe you wouldn't move your important stuff yourself, like your PC. It's like, try having a child, motherfucker. See what you can fit in a car when you got to take a whole family of 3 on a car drive and see what you put in the fucking car. And that grate popped off. Totally understandable, but it's gone. I'm pretty sure it's gone. I'm pretty sure that.
So it's like exposed fans then? Is that what it is?
Yeah, there's just like 3 fans just sitting out the top. So, which my daughter would love to come over, and she was like basically playing them like turntables. She would grab 2 of them at a time and just like stop them and start them. And I was like, this is very cute, but I cannot have you doing this. And so I threw a entertainment center, like a smaller one that we're not going to use over here yesterday, and raised it up off the ground. And so I bought this PC from Origin PC, which is a computer company. And so I contacted them to be like, hey, this piece I'm pretty sure is just gone. I'm running out of boxes to open. Like, do you got a replacement, anything like that? And, 2 or 3 days later, they responded and said like, oh man, we got bought by Corsair. We didn't keep any of that shit.
Whoa.
Oh, really?
Shit.
Funny.
I'm like, oh, fuck.
Damn, dead stock.
So if anyone out there has an older Origin Millennium case and they have the fucking plastic grate off the top that they're not using, write to me, care of this station.
What we do, Jeff, is we get you a 3D printer and you 3D print your own.
See, yeah, but it's like,
There's
it's
gotta
this
be plans
big.
for that out there.
It's a big.
It's going to take
You
a
need
while.
a big 3D printer.
You got to like snap it all together.
Okay.
People
All right.
make whole cosplays 3D printed now, so
Yeah.
the least we
That's
could do is
true.
build you a grate.
That seems, and it is just plastic. It's nothing super fancy. So
You could
so
just
maybe
live that
is-
open. You could live that open PC life. There are dozens of us. It's
Maybe
not
I'll be
great
one
for
of the people
cooling.
that just like hangs it from the ceiling, like it's just a motherboard just there twisting in the wind, like just these spread out chandelier PC.
Fun.
Yeah, no, probably not. But that's just frustrating. And now it's got me thinking like, okay, I probably need to buy a new case. I don't necessarily love this case anyway, so it'd be nice to get a quieter case, but God, I don't want to fucking move this machine over to a whole new case and have to deal with all that shit. And so that has been the like back and forth, what should I do about it thing for me for the last week or so. And I've temporarily solved it by raising it off the ground a couple of feet so my daughter can't run over and mess with it. Also, Windows has a setting that lets you disable the power button, or like there's like a setting that says like, what do you want to happen when you push the power button? And you can set it to nothing, which
Nothing.
with children seems like the right setting. This computer does not listen to that setting. So I set it to that. And she's gotten smart enough to lift the little is a slider that covers the power button, and now she knows how to do that. And so just lift it up and be like, oh, there's like 3 buttons here, and just start hitting them and turn the whole machine off. And like, So it's
You
off
can
the ground now.
You can unplug that from the motherboard, but then there's no way to turn it on, right?
There's no way to turn it on, right? Yeah. So I have to like basically open the case and hotwire it every time, just like hit a jumper and or whatever it is.
She'll just learn that. Like she's smart.
I've
She'll
got
just
an
figure
external
that out.
button,
she is
actually.
she is like getting pretty devious, honestly. Yeah, it's
They
Fantastic.
get smart
It's
faster than expected.
totally. It's awesome
It's crazy.
and terrifying.
Yep.
So that's been how it's been going around these parts.
Sounds like a smooth move though. Like if that's what's on your worry list, you got a Nest battery and your fan is case. Could be worse. Was there anything funky with the house? Was there anything?
Danny,
that
you
went...
weren't here for the toilet crimes that had
For
happened.
the toilet crimes.
I saw the title of the podcast and went, "I'm having a nice holiday. I don't need this in my life," and I didn't listen to it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, there was I think it was the handyman. I think we had someone come in to put up to baby proof part of the house, and I wonder if maybe he did the deed.
Was
Basically,
it just stank?
There was a toilet that was unflushable and was well, all right. The entire bowl was coated.
Okay, Jeff, since you now have accessed that Ring alarm, right? Can you go back to however many days before you moved in to narrow down the list of suspects of who pooped in your toilet?
Maybe, but I already know a list of like who was in here. There was a cleaning crew.
Wasn't them.
There was a cable internet installation person who was not able to get the job done at that time.
Sounds like
But
that
the cleaning,
person.
but the cleaning crew was there at that time. I know that because the cable guy called me up and said, "Cable guy," and then I was like, "Oh God, no, not this again." But he said, like, "Oh no, there's a crew here doing cleanup work. Can I just go in?" I said, "Yes, I'm not there, so go ahead, go in.
Go ahead and ruin my toilet."
Yeah, but no, the cleaning crew. So the cleaning crew ostensibly would have been cleaning, and hopefully they didn't do it, and they were still here when he realized that he could not complete the work and left. But in between that and us showing up, there was a person we had come in to put up some baby gates and like seal off the top of the staircase. The areas between the railing were too wide, and a child might fall through it. So we had to have someone come in and do some stuff around that. And I'm thinking maybe it was him.
It's a lot of bending down on your knees, kind of working your intestines there.
Why not use a different toilet, though?
I mean, there's a few in this house that he could have used. And
wait, which toilet was it? Why is the toilet this? What was it? A weird toilet to use?
No, it wasn't an especially weird toilet to use. It was the downstairs one, probably the one that would have been the most
accessible.
Yeah,
it's working now, though. I mean, you've got priors.
I went and yes, definitely. I went and bought some cleaning material, some cleaning stuff, and a plunger, and it's fine.
Okay,
so not a problem.
Welcome to.
We also swapped some toilets around from upstairs to downstairs. Since then, it's been
You swapped the toilets?
Yeah, we swapped toilets.
You can swap like the bowl, like the
whole
toilet
thing. Yeah. So
you just swap the toilets.
It's like a car battery, huh?
The toilet okay, let's get into
standard?
The toilet
Is there
upstairs.
I want to get into this.
The toilet upstairs had a Toto washlet on it. Yeah.
Every time you flush it.
Yeah, it just plays Africa, and you're like, I'm having a great time. I'm pooping more than ever because I want to hear this great song.
Watch the rains.
Yeah, but it's the Weezer cover.
So that's a device. That's a bidet device, a bidet seat, as seen in Tokyo, and so that was on an upstairs toilet, and my wife didn't want any part of it, and I said
she doesn't live the lifestyle.
And I said, well, I want to check this out. I want to know more about this. I having been to Tokyo and experienced the magic, I'm like, oh, yeah, let's see what's up with this. I don't know. Maybe it's not for me, but maybe it is. So we had someone in doing some other work say like, hey, can you move this toilet down here and this toilet up here and just move the whole toilet? And we just did that.
Wow.
And
I didn't know you can do that.
yeah,
I mean, I
just
imagined you could, but
yeah, I mean, they're just
thought to
toilets.
do
It's
it.
just a hole. Like if you lift up a toilet, it's just a hole in the ground.
Huh.
Right.
I don't need to know that. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
That. That's too real for me. So how is it? What's it like?
We have to have him come. We have to have him come back and run power to the bathroom. Like it needs its own kind of outlet for power down there. To
electricity.
Yes,
it doesn't clean you with the water pressure or anything. It
does, but also like it's remote control and moves all this stuff, and it needs to be plugged.
Oh yeah, it has all the settings. Like you can.
Yes, yeah.
Does it play a song?
I don't think it plays a song. There are newer models that do. There are new models, and it just plays Africa. But I believe there are some models that are even MP3 players.
Oh my god.
good.
Hell yeah.
Pop
Like
in a
in
USB
that
stick.
era when everything was an MP3 player, I think that at some point they started building that into toilets, seats.
So you could have like a Crazy Frog ringtone go off,
Yeah, probably.
or your David Graham soundboard noise.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, well, I don't need that. That's usually the noise I'm making. Not to get too much deeper into this, so it doesn't really need to make that noise. But what are you gonna do? Jeff Baclar's out on assignment. We'll see him soon.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Jeff Baclar.
Yeah,
I forgot he existed. I was like, oh, this is always the crew. I forgot about
Right.
Baclar. Yeah, Baclar. Remember that guy?
Speaking about someone that has a 3D printer, he could do that for you.
he's got a 3D printer.
He's apparently too many.
Do
Apparently
you think
too
he lives
many.
that lifestyle? Do you think he has a bidet? Who do you think of like all the people who work or have worked on Giant Bomb secretly had a bidet the whole time? Because you never know. You think you know someone, and then like,
Oh, Ben
Like
Pack,
what?
100%.
oh Ben, maybe Ben's brave.
Yeah.
You think Reichert secretly washes his butt that way?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he's that afraid of poop. I know
yeah.
he's that afraid of poop.
I
That maybe he does live that lifestyle.
Look, the pandemic toilet paper shortage of 2020 hit all of us in different ways, and we all responded to it differently. So, what are you gonna do? What do you say we talk about some video games?
Oh, wrong music. There we go.
It's close enough.
Starting the show over
There we
again. Take 2. No poop talk this time. Only Cookie Clicker talk. Cookie Clicker came out on Steam.
Cookie
Apparently-
clicker.
I'm sorry, not to totally come back on this podcast and just ruin the flow and everything, but according to chat, Reichert actually does have a bidet. So
No, yes.
There we go.
Yes,
cool. All right.
he actually does. It's
Breaking
true.
news.
All right. I wasn't sure if that was public knowledge. I did not want to blow up his spot. But yes.
Done.
But mine heats the water. The Cookie Clicker is on Steam. It is just Cookie Clicker with music. C418, who you may know as having done music for Minecraft, has composed a new soundtrack for Cookie Clicker,
New
which is
soundtrack.
just a great sentence to say out loud. And I'll say it's good cookie clicking music. I hope there are more tracks because Cookie Clicker takes
Cookie
some
clicking
turns
good.
as it gets going, and I have not gotten to that point again yet because it has been a zillion years since I have thought of Cookie Clicker. But so I don't know if the soundtrack takes a turn at that point or if it's just kind of the one kind of long track. But I've been messing with this again. It's got Steam achievements and all this other stuff, and they're selling it for $5, so it's kind of like a
That's
hey,
cool.
you can still play Cookie Clicker for free in a web browser, but hey, this one's gonna have Steam Workshop support someday. It's
Oh
real
my
silly. If you don't know, Cookie Clicker is one of the, I'm gonna say, first very popular idle/clicker games. I mean, it's no cow clicker when it comes to the genesis of a genre, but at the same time, Cookie Clicker kind of established a lot of the norms, or popularized a lot of the norms for that style of game. But going back to it in this day and age, I'll say I find it to be pretty slow going. I suspect that's because I'm playing it wrong. There's a bunch of additional stuff you can unlock with mini games and stuff, and there's a stock market you can play, and all the stuff that I just look at and go like, I just want to watch the numbers go up, man. Come on.
Did you ever hack it? I remember I used to get a cookie clicker. Yeah, you just get a plug in and it like speeds everything up by 100 or whatever.
Yeah. And there was a little message in there that would just say like, cheated cookies taste terrible, whatever. And like, yeah,
No,
fuck
they're
you.
still delicious.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought about using Cheat Engine on this to see what I could make it do, to see if that would trigger the same type stuff, but I don't know. Cookie Clicker.
It looks like it's selling. It's got like 5,000 over positive reviews. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's
good for them.
Yeah, it's good to see Cookie Clicker make a little money for the game itself. I'm trying to think if they did merchandise or if there's some other monetization alongside Cookie Clicker as it kind of rose in popularity, but I don't actually know if they have found a way to make money on it. But yeah, that's pretty cool. What else is going on? Danny O'Dwyer, you're back in the friendly. I was gonna say back in the United States, where you can play video games again, including Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. I fooled with this a little bit and got so lost in just how good it looked that I never went to go see any of the new content.
All right. So the main base game stuff?
Yeah, so I just went and did, like, I had a save that was like somewhere in Act 2, and I imported that and loaded it up, and I was like, yeah, cool, man, let's go. And it's like, oh, now I can do all the new stuff they added. Like, or I could just like run around here and look at this stuff and keep doing the stuff I haven't done here, because there's a billion little side things I haven't cleared yet. And before I knew it, I had spent a couple hours with it, marveling at just how good it looks, but had gotten nowhere with it and hadn't even started the whole new DLC thing they put in there. What do you think?
Yeah, it's good. I had the opposite, I guess, experience, because I have a fully complete playthrough, and also I've probably cleaned half of the things that were left on the map after my launch, so I'm dying for new content on it. So I went straight away to Iki Island, which is a new world, a new island, which when you start it straight up says, all right, you're going on like a thing over here, you're going to be here for a while, and it's actually pretty hard, so make sure you're like well seasoned, and like that you don't mind that you're not going to come back to Tsushima for a while. So when you get there, it almost acts like it's a whole new island to uncover. There is some new tech tree stuff, like subtle little abilities that they add to your repertoire, and then there's a bunch of new enemy types and sort of quests and stuff like that. So it feels like a separate DLC almost. I'm not sure at what stage can you go back and forth. I don't think you maybe can, because it seems like it's pretty far from the main island. But it's neat. There's a sort of the story involves it actually goes right back to the death of the main character's father, which sort of happens at the start of the main game when he's younger. Sure. The flashbacks, that's actually all tied into it, the lore and like what his dad was doing on this island. It's like a different sort of a tribe that's over there, and the Mongols have invaded there too, so you're still like emptying bandit camps, but there's a bit of antagonism between his family and the locals on that island. So he's trying to win them over as the ghost again. A couple of new enemy types. There's these shamans that sort of do like throat singing, that like and when they do that, they buff all the people around them, so you have to kill the shamans, which is like a kind of neat way to give a magical sort of shaman character some in-world reasoning. So that's neat. And the battles are like, I'd say they're not like end game difficulty, but they're definitely like you're hitting a lot of those big heavy dudes with the shields and stuff like that.
Right.
But it's cool. Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, I can't the base game on PS4 looked so good that I literally cannot tell if this game, I'm sure this game side by side looks way better, but the base game already ran in 60 and had like a really good like bokeh depth of field thing in that game, which made it so that even stuff that was far away, it just looked perfect. Like it never looked jagged. So I suspect that maybe there's a bit more detail on the horizon in this, and I never noticed it wasn't there before. But I'm just, everything about it screams, hey, did you enjoy the base game? Well, here is another whole section of that for you to play through from start to finish. So I've been lapping it up, really having a good time with it.
Awesome. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I just got in and I kind of just got lost in the look of it and the lighting and just like all they go so hard on that stuff that you just like, I just wanted to stop and just look at shit. I was like, oh, look at the light coming through the trees here. Look at this. Look at this field. Look at the wind as it whips across it and all that sort of stuff. And before I knew it, I was like, I'm gonna go to bed. I was like, oh, I didn't even start that thing. But now hearing that it's a section that you have to go do in one chunk, like now I kind of don't want to go do it. So I mean, because I kind of fell off like that's a really cool game that I kind of got again, like deep into Act 2, and because I had gone and done so much of the side stuff,
I was just like super powerful for one, and it just gotten to a point where I was like, all right, I've kind of had my fill of this combat, and I kind of wore out on it. So having this upgraded version and the new content as a reason to go back to it is cool, but it's just reminding me that there was still a bunch of stuff I hadn't done. And so now I'm like, well, maybe I'll just go play through and complete the story and then maybe go do this stuff.
Yeah, it has that
Otherwise, I
vibe
would say
of,
like, oh, like maybe I should go do it, because like if it's got new tech tree stuff, I wonder if you take that back into.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I do, because it says even on the thing, it says, like for instance, one of them is one of those you get those upgrades so that, like, I forget what it was, like the foxholes get marked on your map. Like one of them is a new thing that's only on Iki Island is also marked on your map. So it's I don't think it transfers over. And I think if I was in your position, I'd probably do the same thing, because it reminds me of a lot of the Frozen Wilds in Horizon Zero Dawn, where like you can play it past, I think it's level 30 or something if you're playing Horizon, but the way it's been designed feels, and that's a game in which you can actually fast travel between the two of them at least, and maybe you can in this at a certain stage, but it feels like the type of thing that is made for somebody who really enjoyed the game, completed the game, and want more game. And that's, to me, this is what this feels like too, where if I was, having the completionist mindset or coming into a game that already has a story, and like Ghost of Tsushima has a lot of, especially if you're coming back to it after a while, it has a lot of characters and a lot of like B stories that tie into the main. So there's a lot going on already without also then going off and doing this thing. So I'm glad I have all that stuff wrapped up so I can just play this as its own thing.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Neat.
Fist.
Let's talk about it. Finally.
This is cool. This has been treating me right. I picked this up yesterday, played a couple hours, and was super intrigued. After watching a
Forged
couple
in
trailers.
Shadow Torch.
Yeah, that makes sense, right?
Fist.
Fist.
Yep.
On my Twitter, I likened it to a melee-focused Shadow Complex, and I do not invoke that name lightly. It's revered as far as I'm concerned, and it definitely feels like a Shadow Complex. Not only because it's like a 2.5D, Metroidvania, but the movement is very similar. You get a lot of movement traversal abilities right away.
You're a bunny in this
you get
game.
like a wall cling. You're a rabbit in this game.
Oh, sorry,
with a big fist. So you're in this like furry land. I don't know what to call it, but they're called furtisans instead of citizens. Never mind the fact that there's like hippos and shit without fur. Like, are they a different, like, lower class or some
Don't
shit?
hippos
I
have
don't
like little
know.
whiskers? It's kind of
They
fur.
have whiskers, but not fur.
Do they
Kinda
fists?
like furry.
Yeah.
They probably have fists. But no, you play this little bunny dude who's like this revolutionary. He's kind of like a retired revolutionary or whatever, and he's just kind of jaded by the whole thing. And there's an oppressive force that's keeping the man down. But
Planet's dying, bunny rabbit.
Yep. But one of his friends gets captured by this, pretty corrupt government, and it forces him into action. And he picks up his old weapon, the fist, and goes on an adventure to save his bear friend.
Like a big rubber fist he's whipping people with, or what is it?
No, it's like a mech suit. It's like a backpack, and then a big robot arm that like comes off the side.
Got it.
And
Okay.
it matches the movement with his left arm. So if he throws a punch with his left arm, the big fist does it as well. So it's got all the Jason favorites. It's got air juggles. It's got launchers. It's got parries. It's got all the trappings of a good brawler, it seems.
Nice.
It looks great.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah, there's nooks and crannies all over the place. And I'm easily, finding myself getting sidetracked, trying to get to places that I'm not usually able to. and then going back once I get like a new power or something like that. As I mentioned before, you get to like a double jump, wall cling, and then also a dash that you can do in the air. So you're pretty well mobile. So yeah, lots of opportunity for you to get up and around and find new spots. But I fought one major boss so far, and it's been pretty tough. So I'm pleasantly surprised by that.
Are you fighting other fur citizens?
I think maybe you will later on. One of the trailers kind of alluded to that you fight like an old friend of yours, but for the most part, it's robot dogs.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
The ultimate foe.
I'm telling you, 2021, year of the furry.
Ibos.
Oh shit!
You're the what?
Year of the furries.
You're the furry.
Furries.
Oh, wow.
Happening.
Fuga, rise up.
Fuga, fist. Telling you.
I mean, Bronies was when, because we had those fighting.
They're
herds.
coming back.
They're fighting herds.
Yeah, like
the
the whole My Little Pony thing has been gone just long enough to where now it's having a resurgence, which is
it's coming around again.
It's beautiful.
We talked
Scary
about wrestling
weird
already today, but like CM Punk came back, My Little Pony coming back. You know, I think
Can't
it
have
was
one without
maybe
the other.
7 years.
Artisans are making their way.
Yeah.
Fisting.
Yeah.
It's back, baby.
Yeah.
Fisting is
Fisting
back.
never left, baby.
Better than ever.
Season 2 of Beastars, the horny animal anime. It's back.
Oh god.
Hell yeah. So is this the demo you're playing? I know there's a
No,
demo
this
out on
is, yeah,
Steam.
full game.
Okay, cool, awesome. And so because did they tell you any kind of release date for it? Because it's still just TBA on Steam. I don't know if it's got.
Yeah, it's only out on PlayStation right now.
It is out. Okay. It is
It
out.
is out.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
$30, I do believe.
Oh.
I don't know whether or not it's coming to Xbox or not, but I believe they got some sort of exclusive deal with PlayStation for the time being.
Oh. All right then.
Yeah.
Furry
But
games
no.
on the Pleistation. That's.
Give it a shot. Yeah, don't let the furry thing.
Hey, Biomutant.
lead
That,
astray.
was that on a, that was Xbox, was it? I forget.
That might have been
By
on
all
all.
means.
I played it on a PC, so I don't remember.
Armed and Dangerous.
Yeah.
Oh
What I'm
yeah.
talking about.
Yeah. Speaking of furries, I played Sonic Colors. Does that make sense?
Oh, yep.
Did you?
Not
were you
really.
able to play it?
So they sent over the PlayStation version. And so, yes, unfortunately, I was able to play it. That stuff, they've been out there like trying to collect bug reports for it. And like the Sonic social media person was out there saying like, hey, so some of these videos that are going around are from like an emulator. And we obviously can't help with that.
Oh.
Interesting.
But also there's some stuff going on in the game itself, and we're working on it, but send us what you got so we can know what to look for, whatever. It sounds like the Switch version of that is like borderline disaster with some of these bugs. The videos, you seek out some of these videos, they're real crazy in a way that I wish I was playing that version of the game, because I'm playing it on a PlayStation and it's just Sonic Colors, and I'm like, well, I don't
Who wants that?
Doesn't exactly. It kind of, they've added stuff to it. They've added, you can have like a player icon that looks like the Sonic from the movie if you want.
Ooh,
Sick.
And if you want like electric bolts to have like electricity around you, like Raiden and MK1, or I guess like Sonic in the movie, you can do that too. But yeah, it's I don't know. I know people like Sonic Colors, and so I was like, hell yeah, I want to check out I want to check out Sonic Colors because people seem to like it, and I'm interested in seeing what people consider to be the good Sonics these days. I don't know, man. Any of these Sonics where you're just like behind the back, even for, I think we did a quick look of the original version back when it came out. It's like the side-scrolling stuff, just the movement doesn't feel snappy enough. It feels like a hacked, it feels like a camera hack of like, this game was meant to be played behind the back, and now we're going to do this side view thing, but it's not going to feel tight like a side view Sonic game does. It's still going to feel mushy and weird like the behind the back stuff did. And so it's just, I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Sonic games.
I'm sorry. Sonic Colors hurts you.
It weren't. Sonic Colors didn't hurt me, other than in the way that I now just and I feel like I've said this before. Are all the Sonic games bad? Because I always held to this thing of just like, well, 1 is good, 2 is really good. I like Sonic CD because it was trying some stuff, and by the time 3 came around, they redrew Sonic, and I was not as into it, even if the cool shield stuff was neat. Are they all bad? Are they all bad games?
The Sonic Advance games, really fucking good.
Okay.
That's where they introduced Cream the Rabbit. Sonic Adventure games. I can't
Cream
speak
the
to
Rabbit?
those. Cream the Rabbit.
Yeah.
She's really tight. Furries.
Whoa.
Damn, it's this year, huh? Sonic Adventure games. Not for me, but like the strict 2D ones that she on the GBA, solid. There's like that weird brawler game that was on also the GBA that has like a story mode. Really good. It's when they try and complicate the system. Sonic Mania, fantastic. It's just like you try and add too much spice to the jambalaya, you know? It's not a metaphor that people often say. I don't think it's one that people say at all. But like,
probably not.
But man,
but I get you.
Thank you. This Sonic Colors I really enjoyed. I kind of enjoyed like the Sonic with the Were Hedgehog in it too. But maybe that's because my brain is poisoned.
What did you think of Sonic like 2006, the one where he kisses the human girl?
Oh man, you want to talk about
other than just being hot? I mean,
it's hot. You want to talk about awakenings? Woo! But that's the one that introduced Silver also,
you realize
right?
Your feelings for Sonic.
That sounds right. I can't sit here and pretend to be like super deep in on the Sonic lore. It's just the last time I was really sick, I tried to play Shadow the Hedgehog, and it did not make me better, but it also didn't make me feel any sicker.
I also really like Sonic Heroes because that was tight.
That was the last one.
Jeez.
Sonic Heroes, the last big 3D one.
What was the one where it's like you and then like 2 homies on a team? It's like you're running down. It's 3 of you at the same time. It had not
the arcade game with the trackball, right? That's
no.
Okay,
what's the one? It's like the crocodile and the chameleon were in it with the bumblebee. And then you had that one squad where it's Big the Cat, Amy, and I think it's Cream the Rabbit.
Right. That's like the racing game almost, like, but you're
Sonic
running
R?
instead of,
No,
it's not Sonic R, but it's like one of the new.
A different. Just too many Sonic games. Not that Sonic racing game.
What? Sonic Heroes? Is it Sonic Heroes?
Is it Sonic Heroes?
No.
Sonic Heroes.
No.
Yeah, that's
Sonic Heroes.
Yeah, that's that. People in chat are saying that's Sonic Heroes.
Yo, yeah, I actually really like that game, but again, maybe because my brain is poisoned.
I like the game with the trackball. It's
I like Sonic R. Sonic R is a good time.
Yeah.
Sonic R.
What about
like
that
the game where they
Kinect
fight
It's
each
got
other.
good music.
Yeah,
Nice.
Sonic the Fighters. Hell of a fighting game.
One of the best. One of the best
among the best fighting games
of all time.
Sonic has
Of
the
all time.
capability to be good, but too often than not, they fumble the bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played a bunch of Sonic
totally.
Mania on the flights I was on recently, and that game's really good. But it showed me that I have, and perhaps lots of us have, just been playing Sonic wrong this entire time. Because all I want to do is just get through the level as fast as possible, enjoy the graphics, and enjoy the music. And those games are like, no, it's about like finding the secret thing and mastery and all this. And I never gave a shit. All I wanted to do was it just looks cool and the music's good. Yeah.
And I always felt like the minute you tried to like slow down and like, wait, I got to go where and do this, like the control was never as tight. Like Sonic slowly walking up a slope and not jumping the way you want him to jump, and just like dumb shit like that. So it becomes like, well, now I've got to memorize the level so that I can do all that stuff without having to slow down. And like some people want to do that. Go ahead. Nah.
I don't know why. It just clicks with me. Maybe I've always wanted to go fast.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I do also like.
I don't know. So
dogs.
like that's like I feel like I was just the right age for like the fucking Attitude Era style of Sonic when he first came out, and it was like, yeah, man, Mario, what's that dude? He's got a mustache like my fucking dad. Fuck you, Dad. Sonic the Hedgehog taps his foot and jumps off the stage if you are idle for too long. That he is a bad mofo. And so I was like the right age for that, and also a Genesis owner that was excited about exciting new games coming to the Genesis. So like when Sonic came out, I was like, oh fuck yeah. But then with every one they released after that, I was definitely a little less fuck yeah.
It reminds me of like games like Wipeout, where those games, and I really love, and I've played a bunch of Wipeout games, but like they never, they achieved so much based. I'm not saying they didn't play well, but just on its own, the way they looked and sounded was so good. And Sonic falls into the same thing, where like the gameplay, it's classic in its own way because we've sort of like, it was early and we've adopted it. But like the reason why people love that game is because the soundtrack was incredible and the graphics were fucking cool. And it's the same reason I played Wipeout 2047. It wasn't because people were way into hover racing. Like that game was hard as shit once you get past the third level. It was because people wanted to listen to Cold Storage and The Prodigy and go flying through 3D spaces. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Sure.
And then here in the States, we had the added benefit of just like, we don't even know what Red Bull is, but it sure is on these loading screens.
Everywhere.
And you're like, wait, Red Bull's a real thing? I think that was around the time we were getting cans of Virgin Energy, which was basically Red Bull.
Oh, yes.
But they sold it at the Virgin Mega Store. Yeah. Anyway, and it's never been like that since. And I wish that Wipeout, that one game is where it all came together, right? It's the soundtrack. It was the look for the time. Obviously, those graphics haven't aged amazingly, but all of that came together. It was a link cable game. So if you were a fucking psycho or you worked for a video game website, you could hook two PlayStations together and play against a person without being split screen, which was fucking cool as shit. And then it was never like that again. I feel like Wipeout 3 and just everything that came after that is as beautiful as they did that that like 4K update for whatever the last Wipeout was.
Oh yeah.
But even that fell into the weird Ridge Racer trap at some point where it was just like, actually, these are levels from the portable game repurposed, and we've just put those back out or whatever. And it never worked out quite as well as just like, okay, we've got Designers Republic, we've got this fucking soundtrack,
exactly right,
we've got all this stuff right here, right now, at the exact right time to be highly influential to the culture.
Yes.
And
so
then by the
relevant.
time Wipeout 3 came out, you're like, oh, well, I mean, yeah, I guess you're kind of trying to do the same thing, but guess what? You nailed it already.
Yeah, because those games are like weirdly, every Wipeout sequel, and they're really good. Like Pulse is really good. These games are fun and they're good.
They're good. Like, they're well made, but
they're all retro throwbacks at that stage, because 2047 was such a 2097 was such a, like you said, the Designer Republic, like developing that look, stuff like Future Sounds of London and all these bands that like never even that was the peak of a lot of them too. Like the Prodigy kept going, but like a lot of them kind of like, Fluke, like Photo, all this sort of stuff. All the rest of them are throwbacks to that one, because that one was just such a time and place thing. And I don't know, Sonic kind of feels that way too. It's a lot of like trying to capture the feeling people had, and it's kind of impossible because it's the context of the culture at the time is what made those games powerful.
Yeah. The thing I always wanted them to do, and the thing I very rarely do I ever tell someone who works on video games, you know what you should fucking do, in like an excited manner, but this was one. What Sony should have done, and they should, and maybe the time has passed for like just where electronic music is right now. But what they should have done is they should have put out some kind of anniversary edition of Wipeout XL, and just like same tracks, same look, same graphics. We've up-res them. We've done all the cool shit, and then we have gone and done a dual soundtrack. We've relicensed those original songs, and then also here are remixes of all of those original songs by current artists.
Yeah, that'd be neat. Yeah.
So you get your like fucking Skrillex remix of Future
Firestarter.
Yeah, Firestarter. Yeah, but like that would be a way to tap into that soundtrack, but also give it some additional relevance with the remixes or something. Like find a way to do that. I think that would have been. That's what I would have done.
That would be cool. But then, like, even dance music, maybe it's really big over here. In a way, it's like bigger in the States now than it is in the UK, or at least UK dance music is way more based in the sort of history, and a lot of those older acts and a lot of the younger ones come over here, even from the UK. But like, even so, dance music feels kind of throwback. You know what I mean? Like, so it's so even like people like Skrillex, they're not. It's not, like, how old is Skrillex at this stage?
Right. Yes.
Like,
yeah. Skrillex is not the touch point. At the time that I was saying this,
Right.
Skrillex was maybe a little bit more of the touch point than he would be now. But I think, I don't know. He's got some new stuff out. I think he's not
washed
gone.
up quite. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That would have been cool. Sonic. I don't know what you do.
Let's go back to Mania.
Yeah. I mean, sure. That would be pretty cool, is to do another game like that. But even that, like, I don't know that I finished it. I kind of got to a point with it where I was like, it's awesome that they made this. This is so cool. And now that I have seen a good portion of it, I am okay with that. So
turn it into a card game. They're doing it to everything anyway.
Yeah, make Sonic the Fighters 2.
Mania is 4 years old next week.
Wow.
Huh.
Yeah, that's fucking wild.
Surprised we haven't gotten another one.
Yeah. Jan, what about this Pokemon Unite update?
Ooh, I haven't been playing Pokemon Unite too aggressively, only out of my own personal safety, because I know I just go down that hole and stay there. But they've added 2 characters since I think the last time I've talked about it, Blissey and Blastoise. And man, I think it's the telltale case of any time a character gets added to a MOBA, they really do shake things up, because Blissey is an actual support character where you need to be on top of your lane buddy and like healing them constantly, boosting their attacks, and like if paired up well with a good Blissey, or if you're like with a good attacker as a Blissey, oh boy, you can destroy a lane really, really quickly. And then Blastoise, they finally added to the game from teasing him, because you fight a Squirtle in the tutorial. I haven't had too much time with Blastoise, but like that is another defensive character that just plays as like a faster Snorlax. It's funny because his melee attack is just like little punches versus not using the 2 cannons on its back, but you use that for the special moves. And I don't know, I think it's neat, because I think when this initially got announced, I thought like, all right, this is going to be like a throwaway game that doesn't get supported. But it's been the opposite, where they've been very transparent and vocal with like, hey, there's going to be a patch coming up. Don't worry. Everyone be scared, because we're going to buff this one and we're going to debuff the person you like so much. So I think I'm just surprised by the amount of support that it's been getting, because sometimes, the mainline releases outside of the competitive aspects don't see a lot of updates at all.
Right.
But it's been
a
nice.
MOBA is such a different thing that they have to try to approach it that way.
And it's coming out on mobile soon, which is just going to bolster up that player base and probably make things more dangerous for me, being able to swap back and forth from playing on my phone or the Switch. But man, I hate that it still has its hooks in me. I was hoping that I'd eventually get released and everything, but I have to take the necessary step myself to get out of it. Otherwise, that's the only freaking thing I'd be playing.
Does it feel like that they have addressed any of the early complaints about just how the monetization works, and like a lot of the pay to win stuff seemed like it wasn't necessarily
not too much. A lot of it has just been like balancing the characters.
Okay.
I imagine like that stuff in addressing the pay to win type of things, it's just gonna be having to hit up the drawing board all over again, because I feel like a lot of that stuff has been designed with that in mind, and especially with like the rollout to mobile soon, I don't 100% think that is their main priority, especially with people dropping money on the game. But still, for what it's worth, you can get by playing it free to play. Even if you're just like logging on and doing like some of the daily missions to just get your coins up or whatever, you can still reasonably get by and save up for characters. And daily wise, they'll shuffle around who's free, who's not. So you do at least get some variety if you're only a free to play character and you've been more selective with who you're choosing to unlock.
Yeah.
and I hate it. It hasn't gotten me to re-download League or Dota, thankfully, because this.
Well, I just got an email here.
Don't tell
God,
me
where?
this.
There's a new hero in League. Let me see if I can find the name of it, because I read it and was just like, "What? This is just gibberish." And I may have already. Oh no, wait. I may have already deleted the email.
Oh, thank God.
Let's see here. Sonic Color, Song of Iron is out now. Nope, can't find it. Oh well.
Oh, thank God.
New character in League. You're safe now for those. I can't come up with its name.
I think what it is, though, that keeps me coming back to Pokemon Unite, it's so fast. It's so snappy. Like,
right.
You're not going to get stuck in a stalemate that's going to last more than an hour, because the matches only last 10 minutes. And there's no OT, which is a good thing. But man, Blissey, they're only good. I thought Blissey was broken playing it already, or playing with a good support healer. They're trying to make Blissey even stronger in this next patch, which is wild.
Good Lord.
It's dangerous.
It's outrageous.
Blissey takes the egg that it's holding on and developing and like Hail Marys it over to you. It's like, yo, don't worry, homie, I got you. You're back to full health and you punch faster now. It's wild. It's wild.
That does sound pretty good. Was Wild Hunt wasn't that designed to be like a faster MOBA as well? Not to just like sit here and dangle League in front of you to try to turn you into a full-fledged degenerate, but Wild Rift. Yeah, sorry.
Witcher 3 Wild Rift.
Yeah, the Witcher 3 MOBA that everyone's talking about.
I think, like, for me personally, it still felt too much like League to really get into it. And then I don't know, it's still a lot of the folks trying too hard and like the community transferring over immediately to another League property that kind of hamper that experience for me.
Yeah.
Versus like, not quite knowing if I'm playing with people that are MOBA veterans or people jumping into it fresh because of the Pokemon IP.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Danny, you played You played some of Jet: The Far Shore, which we saw some of during the kind of Gamescom proceedings.
Yeah, there was a couple of games in August that I just wanted to quickly chat about because I played them in previews. Jet. So yeah, Jet is from the Super Brothers people, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really difficult to explain what this game is. I've been really enjoying it.
It's out October 5th. So
yeah. You might have seen it's got a very striking art style to it, like those folks kind of have tended to have. It's a game where you are spending a lot of the time sort of piloting a ship from an almost, I don't know, like top down isometric kind of angle, like small. It's like a small ship, like dancing around the landscape of a planet, but there are also parts where you get out of the ship and you're walking around. It has a very interesting story about you're basically part of an expedition from a planet of, I guess, humans of sorts, but like nothing like our culture at all. Very interesting, like, culture where they're sending this, like, almost like a bunch of people to like start a new civilization type thing. That's
right.
And you're flying into space. It's like gorgeously shot. The music is beautiful, very like 2001 sort of like static shots in space. Fantastic soundtrack, incredibly stylistic. Like, I think it's impossible to talk about this game without you just go look at a trailer and see what it is. But I've been really enjoying it. It's designed incredibly well. The pace is super good. I'm not allowed to talk past a certain point. It's pretty early in it anyway. But it's kind of one of these games I wouldn't talk about much anyway. I think if you check out the trailer and it looks interesting to you, then give it a whirl. Quality-wise, I think it's really good. And, they have the pedigree of previous games behind them that would sort of tell you that anyway. So, yeah, it's really cool.
Nice. And then also The Road 96.
Yeah, this actually came out while I was away, but I played a preview of it. I just missed the cutoff to talk about it on the Bombcast. So it's already out now and it's gotten really good reviews. It's a really interesting game. It's a game where you are basically a child in a, again, fictional country where there is a sort of totalitarianist government and you are trying to get out of the country. So you're basically hitchhiking. The game is like set up where there are a certain number of like sort of preset areas that you go through, and you sort of decide where you want to go next. Should you like steal a car? Should you work at this gas station and then fill up a car? Should you get the bus? But it's interesting because there's basically a probability of you getting to the border, and then once you get to the border, you have to see if you can get past the guards, and there's like a bunch of different ways you can do that if you have enough money, maybe, or if you're able to like, if you don't have enough money, you can take this like super risky traversal route. And what's cool is once you've done that, and you meet all these interesting characters along the way, once you've done that, it goes back, it like kind of goes forward in time, and you pick up as a different kid trying the same thing, maybe in a slightly different part of the country. So you end up like over the course of a couple of playthroughs of trying to get to and maybe you don't, maybe you get killed or you get captured or something happens. But there's a sort of macro progression where you might run into some of the characters that you met in the previous thing, and you learn more about them as well. There's like a lot of recurring characters. There's like 10 characters that you're sort of trying to meet. So it's super interesting because you have this like main goal that is like your main thing, but then it's also a game that is, by virtue of having this sort of bigger progress and bigger story to it, getting you to take risks or do different things. And the characterization is really good. The graphics are super neat. Like, it's an indie game, but it looks really sweet. The voice acting, I've really been enjoying it. It's been a game I've played like, because I think one playthrough with one kid, I feel like it's about 90 minutes to 2 hours maybe. So I was playing it like each night I'd kind of take a story, or so I have not completed it yet. It's all kind of like barreling down to this one day where there's going to be like it's like the anniversary of a terrorist attack type thing. But it's super interesting, like very politically interesting, funny. The characters are, it has all the good characters of like a Telltale thing, but way more gameplay and action than your sort of normal story-based narrative game. Like, you're actually like doing stuff a lot in this game, which I like, because those games I get a little bit bored of sometimes. So I've really been enjoying it.
That's cool. It's definitely like it was a striking trailer, because they kind of try to convey like the different runs that you might have and the different things you might encounter along the way. But I don't think I realized that it was kind of like different kid going and that kind of progression. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, it's super neat and interesting. And it's one of these games where like it knows if you're trying to do something smart. Like, it's kind of ahead of you. It's not like obvious. Like, sometimes in those games I think like, oh, I'll do this, or that's the risky thing and this is the easy thing, or like this character is clearly a psychopath and I figured that out, so I'm going to lean into their psychopathy. But actually, like, the game knows that it's playing its part in the narrative stuff in a way that I feel like some indie story games are way too obvious, and they're not clever enough that way. So it's been cool. There's like stupid shit, like you run into these guys who are like clearly like armed robbers who are psychopaths, they want you to help them break into like a bank. So you can not do it because it's super risky, or you can like do it and it's this whole caper, and then it's like you can double cross them because there's a guy on the phone saying like, you're robbing into the bank, and you can lock them up and then run away, or so it's super. But then the next time you play through, that will have affected. Yeah, so it's cool. People should check it out. It's really good.
Neat. Yeah, that sounds awesome. All right. Well, why don't we take a break and we'll come back and we'll get into some news next up, huh?
Sounds good.
Great. Let's do it.
It's time to get online. Like Johnny Mnemonic used to say, we got to get on the internet. And if you're not on the internet, well, I don't know how you're hearing this, but it's time to leave a footprint. So when you're not there, you're still there. It's time to build a website. That's right. Websites. You've heard of these things. It's like you type it into a web browser. Okay, you log into your Slip account. You get your PPP, your NCSA Mosaic, and hang on. Oh, this is the old copy. All right, you get Firefox or what have you, and you type it into the internet. Why don't you be on the other end of that connection with your business or your work or your content, whatever you're trying to do? You're trying to sell stuff? Get a load of Squarespace. That's right. Squarespace is the product, the tool, the service that you can use to make a beautiful website all by yourself, because they've got these templates. made by world-class designers. And you can customize all this little stuff yourself without having to have all the deep technical know-how that can go into building a big old website. You don't need to know any of that stuff anymore. Just get on Squarespace. You can even sell stuff. They've got e-commerce functionality. It all works on your phone, wherever you've got a modern web browser. Your website is going to be there for people to look at. Whatever you're trying to do, even if you're trying to buy a domain, Squarespace has got your back. And on top of that, they're there at 24/7 with award-winning customer support in case you run into any snags along the way. Squarespace is used by millions to get their messages, whatever they may be, out to the world. Why not throw your message on the pile today? Head to squarespace.com/bombcast for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use the offer code BOMBCAST to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com/bombcast, and the offer code is BOMBCAST. Five years ago, Felix Gray realized that our eyes were not meant to look at screens all day. So Felix Gray designed glasses to make daily screen time more comfortable and the workday more productive. Because now, more than ever, Americans are spending more time on computers, phones, tablets, TVs, so many other sources of blue light. And Felix Gray glasses are not like other blue light lenses. They filter 15 times more blue light that can make that screen time tough on eyes and disruptive to sleep. They've got non-prescription and prescription lenses available. You can check them out now at felixgrayglasses.com/bombcast. That's felixgrayglasses.com/bombcast. They sent a pair of these over. They're blue light glasses. You know, you put them on, you look at the computer. You know, the goal here is to, you know, have less eye strain. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And they're stylish. They got a handful of different styles, you know, at their disposal. You can kind of, you know, look and see what other ones they got. These ones that they sent over are like a tortoise. That's the tortoise shell. That's a style of glasses, right? They got a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you've got nothing to lose but eye strain. And what other symptoms might you have had? You know, you got sore, tired, burning, itching, watery eyes. Ugh. You know, you got headaches, migraines, a sore shoulders and back and neck, and all the inability to focus, all this different stuff. Poor sleep and fatigue from all these LED bulbs going off in your dang face. Ugh. Forget about it with Felix Gray glasses. Get yourself a pair of glasses made for the 21st century and designed for modern, hard-working eyes. You have nothing to lose, except maybe eye strain. Go to felixgrayglasses.com/bombcast for the best blue light glasses on the market. That's FELIXGRAY glasses.com/bombcast. Free shipping, free returns, free exchanges. felixgrayglasses.com/bombcast.
Okay. We're back. I hope everyone is refreshed because now it's time to get into this news.
Oh no.
The news is exhausting me.
Top story this week, the free ride is over, you bums.
Oh, man.
Sony's had enough of your shit. They want their $70. This is
They'll get it.
Okay. Well, yeah, they'll get it. So there's the free upgrade thing. They had said that I believe there was a Jim Ryan interview talking about like, hey, in fact, Carly Valachi on Twitter had pointed this out, that a Washington Post interview with Jim Ryan in 2020 said, yeah, the PS5 versions of those games are built from the ground to take advantage, blah, blah, blah. We have an upgrade path for PS4 users to get the PS5 versions for free. It's about people having choice. I'm really quite pleased about the situation. This is not what
that was then.
That was then.
That was a year ago.
And so instead, they're trying to say, and maybe there was another quote somewhere else that clarified that this is a launch window thing. So when they launched pre-orders for Horizon Forbidden West, it was a mess of 1,000 different versions of it, depending on if you wanted PS4, PS5, collector's versions, physical, digital, weird statues, all this other stuff. And nowhere in there was a way to freely upgrade the PS4 version over to PS5. This led to an amount of outcry.
Widespread panic.
Yeah.
Twitter melted down.
Yeah.
And blood ran in the streets. And
yes.
They have backpedaled on this and are now going to allow Horizon Forbidden West purchasers to upgrade to the PS5 version for free. They updated this with a statement from Jim Ryan that, like, okay, so there's a part of this is them announcing the release date, I believe, too, because this is February of 2022, which they said around the Gamescom window that was gonna be when that came out and all this other stuff. And so for them, they thought they were just going to offer free upgrades during the launch window of the PlayStation 5 and that eventually they would move into this $10 territory. And so for them, this has been the plan all along. And Horizon will now be the last title that does this because they have clarified. I also want to confirm today that moving forward, PlayStation first-party exclusive cross-gen titles newly releasing on PS4 and 5, both digital and physical, will offer a $10 digital upgrade option from PS4 to PS5. This will apply to the next God of War and Gran Turismo 7 and any other exclusive cross-gen PS4 and PS5 title published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. So now they're kind of on the record saying this is how it's going to be. I would have thought that this would not have mattered too much because we would have gotten away from the old consoles in such a way that, like, this is something that only happens in a launch window, and then you stop doing your cross-gen games because you're all in on the new platform. But pandemic and the availability of the consoles and chip shortages and all this other stuff has widened this period substantially, and so I guess I get why there's confusion around some of this stuff. I get why they thought they could get away with this stuff because they thought it wouldn't matter by now, but none of this feels good. Especially when taken against the Xbox Smart Delivery path of, like, they're not charging $70 for games over there to begin with, but also they don't care where you play them. You can just play them. It's weird that they're still sticking to this.
Yeah, I think that's... I wonder if this wouldn't... Because it's wild how powerful consumers are today when it comes to this type of thing. And I feel like 10 years ago, you know, when DLC started to come out, everyone felt like we have no control over this at all. I think it's amazing how quickly this stuff gets backtracked these days when there's just so much broad negativity to it. It's not just like enthusiasts or, you know, some weird community. It's just, it gets out there and people know about it and react to it. And I do think Microsoft have made a nightmare for Sony when it comes to this stuff. Like Sony has always tried to be the sort of like tentpole release, you know, prestige exclusive thing, and it gets harder and harder for them to do it when Microsoft's over there, like just kind of disrupting the space in a weird way with cross-gen and all this stuff. And then Game Pass, yeah, it just feels like there's such a deal. And then for them, it's totally different in a way, but then when you look at, like, under a microscope what they do with this launch, you're like, it has the vibe of nickel and diming people in a way that feels even worse given how stuff is working over here.
And it distracts from, like, you know, I think if you were Sony, the path you would take is... The only path I think you could take through this is to say, well, our games are worth it. This is the next God of War. This is Horizon, you know, and you lean on that prestige kind of perception that they have, but they can't even, they're not even pulling that part off.
Can they?
Or I don't think they can pull it off. Like, because normally that would be what you would try to do, is you would say, our games are $70 and we think they're worth it. And
they only work on this new console.
Or like, hey, they only work on this new console, and or even you could try to get into explaining it away as, like, in a world where a lot of games are nickel and diming you with skins and with battle passes and free DLC, we are making our prestige single player experiences, but in order to do that, They have to be $70 because we're putting so much into them. But they're not even successfully pulling off any kind of messaging around that stuff that works in their favor. So instead, it just ends up being these weird backpedals. And so the first paragraph of this apology that Jim Ryan issued to me is...
He apologized
I just have to read it. It's just like this.
Jeff, sorry, buddy.
Thursday was to be a celebration of Horizon Forbidden West and the amazing team at Guerrilla working to deliver it on February 18th, 2022. However, it's abundantly clear that the offerings we confirmed in our pre-order kickoff missed the mark. Okay, you announcing that pre-orders are available it was to be a celebration. Go out and pre-order our product. It's a celebration. Like what? Just the tone of that to me just strikes me as like even still somehow out of touch with the reality of it. If you are building the kickoff of your pre-order campaign as a celebration of the franchise, like come on.
I wonder if internally, like, because they have actually Guerrilla and Sony, I guess, have kind of weathered the storm of this game being delayed a bunch fairly well. Like, people like Guerrilla, and they seem to trust them, and they seem to. So this is kind of the only misstep that's happened, and it's basically out of Guerrilla's hands. So I wonder if this is Ryan kind of throwing himself, like almost like politically, just saying, "I'm sorry, Guerrilla, we made this a problem for you guys. This wasn't on you."
Yeah, sure, potentially. And then they go on to say, last year we made a commitment to deliver free upgrades for our cross-gen launch titles, which included Horizon Forbidden West. And that quote that was pulled out from that Washington Post interview did not say anything about launch titles. It kind of said, hey, we're doing upgrades. But I suspect that there probably is some sentence out there in some other interview kind of confirming that this is more of a launch window sort of thing. But it would be, because again, eventually you stop making PlayStation 4 games. Once you get out of the launch window, you're like, all right, PlayStation 5s are in stores now. Fucking get one.
Jeff, are we out of the launch window?
Will we ever be? I don't even know. Yeah. Fucking, you got card manufacturers shutting down production on a lot of their different cars because they can't get the parts to make them. Like, it's not like PlayStation 5s are going to get easier to make. I mean, well, whatever. I mean, they did put out a new model that probably is a little bit easier to make for them, but it's not like you can just walk into a store and buy one reliably. And that doesn't seem like it's going to change anytime soon. So that is the problem. That is what is extending the launch window. That is what is keeping the PlayStation 4 relevant, is the inability to purchase a PlayStation 5. Without even getting into the economics of, like, can people afford one? Because do they have a job in a pandemic? Like, all this other stuff. Like, that is still a thing. But yeah, okay. So yes, they have backpedaled on this while also kind of like drawing a line in the sand and saying, that's it, son. This is it. You get your Horizon for free. No more. Giving us our $10 for God of War. And if they didn't put these games out on PS4, this wouldn't have no one would have even thought of this. No one would have they could have just charged their $70 and that would have been that. But I'm sure it is still far more lucrative for them to put out a PS4 version, even to offer a free upgrade for people, than it is to only put out a PS5 game. But also, like, they're out there touting that this is the fastest selling PlayStation. So as much as you don't see any on shelves, they're selling a lot of them. Are they just selling them to bots? Is it just like, the bots are buying them really fast. It's selling out all over the place. How many are on StockX right now? Too many.
Too many, yeah.
One is too many. So yeah, in conclusion, it's still a mess. I don't know. Like, I in a sense, I get why they kind of stumbled into this because of all the other decisions they made, but at the same time, something about them billing the launch of pre-orders as a celebration of the game and the team behind it just strikes me as just like, well, no, you put out a trailer and you said, here's when it's coming out. Like, it's not.
I've been celebrating everything wrong then.
Yeah, exactly.
I just have to pre-order stuff.
Yeah, when you are able to consume, that is now a celebration.
Thanks,
when you're
Jim
able
Ryan.
to send your money to someone, it's celebrating. Yeah, it just that I don't know, whatever. Not to get just hung up on verbiage, but
I want to celebrate me. Here's my PayPal.
yeah, yes, launching a celebration. And still, even on top of this, like, yeah, I want to play Horizon Forbidden West quite a bit. There's very few things they can do around the edges of this that will put me off of that, I think. So even stuff like this, I'm like, all right, whatever. I was not going to play the PlayStation 4. So like, if what I want, and this is also maybe unreasonable, but it seems like anyone who buys the PS5 version of God of War or Gran Turismo 7 should get the PS4 version for free.
Yeah.
Because I'm already
Fucking A.
giving them $70.
Yeah.
So give me the $60 one. So instead, because otherwise I could give you $60 for the PS4 version and then $10 for the PS5. Do I get the PS4 version for free if I give you $70?
Huh?
I think you just bamboozled him.
Come
You're gonna put
on.
him out of business.
That's right.
If
I'm
you-
getting two
if you
games.
buy-
If I get one game for the price of two, that's not a good deal.
How about if you buy the statue version of Horizon Forbidden West, you actually do get both. So you only have to spend $200 to get
So
both games.
so Call of Duty has a cross-gen bundle that they did
Oh, cool.
for the last couple, like they did last year. That was like, oh, if you just buy one $60 version of it, you got to choose. But if you tier up to the expensive hardened edition or whatever, then we'll give you both. Like they have monetized that in a bundle sort of way that is I think more than $70, but I
Just in
don't know for
case.
sure.
Just in case
Just
you want
in
to play
case.
that PS4 version. Just like,
I mean,
you know.
you know, I've got a lot of TVs in this house, but I only have one PlayStation 5 in this house. So
I've got one PlayStation 5, but I've also got a PlayStation 4, which is in a different room, which if the saves are compatible, maybe I would want to play that PlayStation 4 version. Maybe.
there's some use case for that. Anyway,
Yes,
point being,
it's completely edge at fringe. Yeah, I know.
yeah. Point being, if I give them $70, they should give me both versions of the game.
I agree. God damn it.
Speaking of upcoming PlayStation 5 games, Sony's doing a thing this week. We are going to be talking over it. That's going to be Thursday.
Because we don't
they're
give
saying
a
it's
fuck.
it's because we do. It's because we do
Oh, okay.
indeed give a fuck. I really want to know because they're out there saying future PlayStation 5 games, first and third party, and no VR. Like
Dang
that was
it.
their no announcement can come without some kind of like, by the way, it's not going to have this. And Sony's is VR. Are that many people clamoring for the next gen PlayStation VR thing that they've had to get out there and say this? Or is this just a way
I
to them,
guess.
for them to
Yeah.
remind people that yes, they are still working on
Both.
follow up to the PlayStation VR?
I forgot.
They
forgot.
showed that controller a while ago.
Look good.
Yeah.
It's a good looking controller.
Yeah.
I got
Maybe
my
they can't
Oculus
make enough.
Quest 2 down here. I gotta bust it out. I don't have enough floor space to do real proper good VR in here, but I've got more than I had before, so I don't know. Maybe I won't punch a hole in my TV. We'll see.
Maybe you will.
Maybe I will. I would expect that God of War will show up at this thing. It's been long enough since we've seen it that seems like
Good
the right
call.
time for a God of War trailer.
Maybe some more Last of Us stuff. That multiplayer, perhaps.
Oh, sure, yeah, maybe that's a thing.
Yeah.
And they mentioned Gran Turismo 7 here in their apology for Horizon, so there's always the potential that we see some more of that there.
It's never coming out.
No, yeah, I know, but also I hope we see some new stuff. Like they could probably use another big announcement or two. And that'd be fun. I like new announcements. And so whatever, we'll be there Thursday to watch it all together. I'm looking forward to it. They're remastering Alan Wake.
Hooray!
Hooray!
Whatever
I'll
wins
play
the
that again.
sequel.
Exactly. Do you think
Yeah,
this
right.
points towards it? Is this them testing the water? Is this like Quake coming out where they're secretly looking at the numbers and going, do people want a new one?
If they want a new one,
All
This
right,
is
what,
cool.
give them a new one.
what would you do with Quake at this point, considering they have had Quake Champions and Quake Live, like two different attempts at making a big multiplayer Quake 3
Colors.
Quake 3 game. Yeah,
Quake
Quake Colors
Yeah.
Ultimate Edition.
Quake R.
Sega Quake the Hedgehog.
Yeah. I guess
What do you-
Doom Eternal is basically Quake. Like the movement in that
Yeah.
game is some Quake.
Yeah.
It's more Quake than Doom.
Sure. Yeah.
The speed.
I just-
I don't know. What I want is the revolutionary minds behind the remake of Doom, which is one of the best in-house relaunches of a beloved property ever made. I want them to figure it out. I want Hugo Martin and Marty Stratton and all those people that did to get in the room and figure out Quake, because they didn't work on Champions was its own like little team, right?
I believe that's right. Yeah.
Maybe Stratton worked on it a bit, but like Tim Willits was heading up the whole section, I believe. He's now at Saber. So yeah, like I don't know, like what do you do with Quake? Because Quake is also like every Quake game is a different game, so I don't know what Quake is.
Yeah, like that's kind of the thing. And if you're making a multiplayer focused game, you probably pull from 3 at this point.
Yes,
Yes,
you do. Yes,
they did that. They did that.
I know.
Like,
they
go
did.
install
I know.
Quake Live. That's what
I
that
know.
is. And
I played Quake 3. I think it was the last game I played before I went to Ireland. And it still runs great. The Steam version of Quake 3 is perfect. You don't have to.
It's awesome. Yeah, they're done. So like, what even Quake 4, which no one's out there talking about Quake 4.
Well, they didn't make Quake 4, right? That was
No, they did not. But even Quake 4's multiplayer was kind of just trying to be Quake 3's multiplayer.
Yes. And I was also around that time, I think you had Enemy Territory came out around then as well, which was the Battlefield. I think if you're going to crib from any of them, I think Quake 1 is interesting. And I think like knowing that like Hugo Martin's a big Bloodborne, got, that type of like cosmic horror, I think you could do some really interesting things with the first Quake. But Quake 2 deserves a sequel. I think that would be, Quake 4 was kind of the Quake 2 sequel.
Quake 4,
yeah. But I'd love, those best grenades ever, man. Twisty,
really good.
On them.
Yeah, just a really cool design, and just the chunky nature of Quake 2 and the movement and the like. Obviously, it's very different from Quake 1, and we could have the rocket launcher speed debate all day long. But Quake 2 and its colored lighting,
dude, and it's like, the palette of that game is like 5 colors. Like it's the least colorful world.
The lighting, the colored lighting was the only thing it did have. It was like, well, we can make it a little red over the brown.
I would love to see them. I bet there is stuff that they came up with and thought about that just didn't fit Doom. And I think it would be fun to put them on a property like Quake. Because I think they have to. I don't think they'll make a third Doom. I think they'll look at, to me, that's what this new Quake is. It's them feeling it out, or maybe just getting people hyped about it. Like if I was to put money on it, I haven't a clue. I know, like we talked to those people, but like I have no idea. But I would be excited by that. They have QuakeCon at a certain stage. They have to put out a new Quake.
Yeah, and I reinstalled Quake Champions in like the 2 weeks or so before QuakeCon, because I just wanted to test the waters and just be like, who's out there playing whatever the last couple of Quake releases were. And I installed Quake Live and I installed Quake Champions, and I could not find a match in Quake Champions.
Really?
Yeah. I know I think there's still some kind of esports happening around it, but like, just getting on and hitting go, I just sat there and spun, and it never found me a match. So, so it was actually super exciting to see Quake get re-released, and all this, we talked about it a little bit, but like the cross-platform multiplayer and just all this, like, hey, we've updated Quake 1, but not really, but really, in just bizarre, but also amazing. Yeah, I would love to see that kind of like that Doom brain trust take on Quake. I think would be interesting, especially as someone who, Doom Eternal didn't really do it for me, even on its own merits, but also as a follow-up to the first Doom. It was just kind of like, all right, that's the expansions to those systems did not work out the way I wanted them to. I'd love to see what you do with a Quake at this point. That'd be weird. Anyway, Alan Wake Remastered is coming out. There's not a lot of details here. It's coming to PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, which they are very quick to say, like, hey, this is the first time it's going to be available on PlayStation. And this was cool. So I guess this game, it leaked out, but so it got announced this morning in a very interesting way. It was like a long open letter from Sam Lake that was posted to an Alan Wake fan site that has been long running.
Fan site. That was kind of cool.
And so it was like this very like heartfelt community interaction from them saying like, hey, we are remastering Alan Wake, and they put it out in kind of this. I thought it was a really cool way to do it, and it's an interesting letter from Sam Lake. You should go give it a look if you haven't seen it.
That's neat.
And the other piece of this is that this game also leaked out via some data mining happening through the Epic Game Store, I believe, kind of a long time ago now. I want to say it was like last year, but maybe it was earlier this year. And also in that same, this is the other headline that I think got picked up out of this, but in that same sweep of, what games are you talking about on your back end, Final Fantasy VII Remake was in there too. And that game has not been announced for PC. But now that you know that Alan Wake Remastered is real, which I don't think was that much of a surprise, you have to wonder when will Final Fantasy VII Remake make its way to PC, presumably as an Epic exclusive.
That's gonna look good.
Yeah, that'd probably be pretty good looking.
Makes sense.
That game. Yeah. Oh, let's see here. Big weekend for Tripwire Interactive.
Oh boy! God damn it! I'm gonna cancel the tour I was gonna go on. Kidding.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They're just
they are. Yes, they're in Georgia. Yeah. So let's see. I got a little timeline here. This was 2 days ago.
Man.
Sunday the 5th. The CEO of Tripwire Interactive got out on Twitter and tweeted his support for the anti-abortion laws and bounty stuff in Texas.
Jesus.
Which seems like a pretty grotesque law in a lot of ways. And said he was proud of the Supreme Court for affirming the Texas law banning abortion for babies with a heartbeat, blah, 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 blah. This led to immediate, whoa, what? From Shipwright Studios, which is another Georgia-based developer that appears to be like a developer for hire that does do some contract work for a number of different companies. Tripwire was one of those companies. They got out there and said, like, this is not us. We are looking to cancel contracts immediately because we do not want to do business with someone out there. And then yesterday, the 6th, 1 day later, Tripwire officially got out there and said, the comments given by John Gibson are of his own opinion and do not reflect those of Tripwire Interactive as a company. His comments disregarded the values of our whole team, our partners, and much of our broader community. Our leadership team at Tripwire are deeply sorry and are unified in our commitment to take swift action and to foster a more positive environment. Effective immediately, John Gibson has stepped down as CEO of Tripwire Interactive. Co-founding member and current Vice President Alan Wilson will take over as interim CEO. And then there's some ongoing stuff about, Alan having been with the company for a good long time, and that they are taking steps with employees and partners to address their concerns, including executing a company-wide town hall meeting and promoting open dialogue with leadership and all employees. His understanding of both the company's culture and the creative vision of our games will carry the team through this transition with full support from the other Tripwire leaders. So that took about a day, big Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, that was distracting. While he was at PAX. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and he at PAX this whole
he was at PAX, like tweeting about like, hey, if you're around, let's meet up. And then all of a sudden this shit happened. And it's like
there was also a photograph which I'm now reading into more of him hanging out in Seattle at the what's the name of that? I always forget the name of the like fish market and stuff, right? Like that.
Oh yeah,
spot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But he's like, I'm here, and there's like a big masks required sign in the background, and he's not wearing a mask, and everyone else is wearing a mask. And like now that I have read what he was talking about, I'm like, all right, is this guy just likes pissing people off? He wants to be heard all the fucking. I have no idea, but not going to be heard much now anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. This seems like it will set off another round of people going like, "Hey, it's cancel culture." It's like, no, people just don't want to work with people that suck
anymore.
You can have whatever views you like, but that doesn't mean I have to be your business partner or friend or anything like that.
And we're only looking about what was in public. Can you imagine all of the people who work for that company and what
Yeah.
I'm sure there was loads of internal shit going on, which had even more of a effect on this. Like, we just know the stuff that happened in public.
Sure. Yeah. Or if this was a complete surprise, it's like, well, wait a minute. You're out there doing damage to our business now. Like, how can we trust you to lead this company if you're out there doing this sort of stuff? Like, yeah.
Real quick, I was very confused because I read the initial tweets thinking it was Trip Advisor. And I was like, this is weird for Kotaku to be reporting on. All right.
Yeah.
Nope.
Very, very
creators
of
story. Maneater,
Killing Red Orchestra,
Killing Floor.
Well, yeah.
Killing Floor.
Yeah, Killing Floor.
They publish games as well that they didn't create, like Chivalry 2 is a Torn Banner gig.
And then I saw going around the initial like introductory cutscene for Maneater has someone like catching a shark, or I believe it's a shark, killing it and then cutting it open and finding a baby shark inside and going like, oh, look at that, and then killing it too.
Oh yeah, I forgot about all that.
Well, they threw it overboard. They didn't.
No, they fucking stab it with a fucking knife, man.
Yeah, they killed the mom, but the baby they threw overboard.
I'm pretty sure they stabbed that baby too.
You grew up. You are that baby.
I thought you are that baby. Yeah.
Okay. Well, they don't kill it then, but I believe it does catch a knife on its way overboard.
Okay.
I'd have to go back and watch it again, but it was
games are art, man. Games.
What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
A baby caught an arm on the way out. His arm. I'm not standing. I'm not fucking dying on a man-eater hill.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's just taken in context with these comments is just like, all right, what are we doing here?
You can't help but you can't help but see everything through a different lens a little bit, right?
Yeah. Let's see here. Player Unknown has left. This is Player Unknown. You may know him
not ringing any
as
bells.
Brendan Green.
Oh,
that's who it is.
Yes, we've unmasked. That's right. Yeah. Player Unknown announced his new project a while back, something called Prologue. It was a very short trailer with not a lot of detail around it. In the time since then, we haven't heard too much other than now he has left Krafton to have his studio, I guess, outside of the confines of the PUBG developer / publisher. This also happens a couple of weeks after that game was renamed from PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds to PUBG: Battlegrounds, or PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Which is a very stupid name. But I guess you PUBG is some. Thank God it was PUBG and not Plunk Bat. Remember that era when people were referring to it as Plunk Bat and it just fucking sucked? So Player Unknown's Battlegrounds.
Why?
Plunk Bat.
Plunk Bat sounds like
I don't know. It was fucking stupid.
It sounds like a Jamaican curse word. Plunk
It kind
bat.
of does. Yeah.
It's pretty. Yeah. Like if
it
somebody
does.
called me a plunk bat, I'd be like, "Oh fuck, I'm sorry.
Whoa,
I must have
geez.
fucked
You
up."
too.
Oh man, I don't know. Yeah. So yes, the game got renamed, and you're like, well, wait, what's going on here? And as it turns out, he is starting out. I believe that his new studio does still have a minority investment from Krafton, so I don't think he's necessarily fully out there, but it is not something that is completely owned. But he got out there and talked a little bit more about Prologue, did a interview with Dean Takahashi over at Games Beat, talking a little bit about Prologue, and he put out a video kind of talking about the ambitions behind it in terms of trying to procedurally generate more realistic worlds and coming up with the algorithms and coming up with ways to do that sort of stuff, and that Prologue is kind of the test bed for that, and saying that this is something that is going to be released as a pay-what-you-want sort of thing. And the quote that Video Games Chronicle pulled out here is, is that he has warned this next project may be quite boring for some players, which is interesting. It says it'll take place in a 64 by 64 kilometer world with terrain resembling European forests, with a realistic weather system and a full-size coal mine.
Ooh.
But it's kind of, it's a little bare bones. It's like you hiding from the weather and hiding from the elements. And that it sounds like it is mostly, again, like a test bed for the game that he wants to make, which I believe is called Project Artemis, in that interview. So it's interesting. Yeah, I feel like he very much kind of vanished off the scene as the PUBG engine kind of started running on its own steam and the mobile version took off. Like, you didn't hear a lot out of PlayerUnknown. And so the announcement of Prologue kind of put some of that into perspective of like, oh, you've got your own team, you're trying to do your own thing. And now it's like, okay, now you're kind of maybe not even necessarily part of Krafton or the former PUBG Corp, or PUBG Games, I guess, is still some studio name somewhere. And that all sounds very interesting. I feel like it almost feels like he's trying to tackle like another No Man's Sky level problem, but in a different way in terms of like going after realism. Obviously, Hello Games went a very different way, and they're still going. Right now, they're putting cities and NPCs into that game and all this other stuff. Like I have to reinstall that game. I need to see more No Man's. I need to start over because whenever I go back to No Man's Sky, whenever I go back and load up my save and see my bases and all this other stuff, it's like, oh right, I got really into making bases, and I don't even know what I can do now because I'm past all the tutorial stuff, and like I don't know what's out there waiting for me anymore or what I should be doing in No Man's Sky. So I just feel like I need to just start over from the beginning and
you
get
can
a look
befriend
at it.
all of the animals now.
Yeah, man.
You can ride half of them. You can make them mounts. Something about Irish developers and procedural generation. They just love it. I'm excited to see more.
I just want Joe Danger. If they could just have a Joe Danger update for No Man's Sky that put like that style of gameplay, but I can play it on infinite worlds.
Yeah. Never ends, like Line Rider, or like a
right,
like what was that? Yeah, that mobile skiing game, whatever. Alto's Adventure, is that what? Yeah, something like that. I'm interested to see what this project's about. I have to bite my tongue a little bit here because I probably know more about this than I'm meant to. But from talking to Brendan, my understanding is that he's been working on everything I read in that GamesBeat thing rang true for what I heard before. So it sounds like he knows
he's
the project.
Still on that same path, and
and it hasn't shifted, and it's a big sort of project, and whoever the team is that he has making on it are taking their time. So but it was interesting to read about it because it was like, okay, so whatever idea and big scope project that he has had for a while now, it seems like it's still the same project. So that to me is interesting and sort of seems like a positive thing, that it hasn't shifted or pivoted, that like he kind of understands what he wants to make, And PUBG was in many ways the final chapter of a very iterative design process of him modding and changing and and then eventually making the sort of perfect or hit the grand idea that he had. So it seems similarly he's making these incremental steps towards whatever it is he wants that final game to make. So I'm excited to learn more about it.
It seems like he would have the resources to chase this stuff now.
Totally.
Privately, and I'm sure in business too. But he's done all right.
Yeah,
kid's done well.
And our last story, this is not a name I expected to come up in game discussions. I think I had blocked this dude, Seth Abramson, who made quite a name for himself on Twitter over the last 4 years, posting about the government, is now posting about graded video games. And this is in conjunction. There was a long YouTube video that I can't remember the name of who made it now, but everyone sent this my way. But it didn't it connected some of the dots, but maybe not all of them. And now we've got a little bit more to it, where Abramson claims that he purchased multiple games off eBay from one of the co-founders of WADA, the grading company. And that his eBay activity is full of graded games, which people that work for a grading company that are then selling graded games seems like a rather large conflict of interest.
Yeah, totally.
At the time of Video Games Chronicles publication of their story, they had found that he was looking to sell 74 WADA graded Atari 2600 games for around $46,000 for all of them. And that all of these games were, almost all of these games were rated above a 9 and had a A+ seal rating and all that sort of stuff. Abramson goes on to allege that, he's selling 2,600 games, which almost seems like a way to duck interest from journalists that are sniffing this stuff out, because all of them have been focused on NES games, which is largely true. There's a weird, well, it's not weird. I mean, the NES was very popular and of the right age for a lot of people to, for them to view as the end all be all retro game thing. But come on, it's very good, but come on. Yeah, so this is, this has kind of been ongoing. They've asked WADA for comment and have not heard back from the looks of it. But this kind of all ties into a lot of the $2 million Super Mario Brothers and all this other stuff. There was a Carl Jobst is the name of the YouTube guy who did an hour-long video about the, claiming to expose the fraud in this market. Basically, like, it seems like a lot of people are more and more people now are alleging that, like, there is collusion between, like, the grading companies and the sales of the games, and potentially even Heritage Auctions, the auction site that sold some of that stuff off, and that some of the players involved in this space have been called out for doing something very similar in the sports card space in the past. And that it seems like maybe they are trying to manipulate a market to their advantage, which these aren't stocks, so I don't know how illegal that is. If this was a stock market thing, you would look at it as insider trading, and this type of manipulation is, they at least pretend to have laws on the books against this stuff. But I don't know if any of that applies to sealed copies of video games. It's just shitty when it happens.
It seems like every couple of weeks there's an extra layer of this story getting peeled off. You know what I mean? Ever since that Mario 2 thing, or a Mario Kart,
and some of the fallout from it has been interesting. So, like, there was, and this is anecdotal, but there was someone selling a game on eBay, and then they got contacted. This is how the story goes, anyway. That they got a long message on eBay from someone saying, like, "Hey, could you raise the price of your game? Because I also own copies of this game, and it's on us to perform in like an OPEC-like manner to make sure that we're all making more money. So if you could do that, that'd be great." Like, just fucking insanity.
Capitalism. That's what it's about, right?
Let's do a capitalism
Cartels
here
and monopolies.
Let's have a celebration.
Yeah. And yes,
celebration,
yes, we're celebrating this is maniacal. And then you've got a lot of people that are just out there trying to collect video games, out there just saying, like, hey, this hobby is getting worse by the day.
Yeah,
because they're seeing prices go up for things that were very accessible to them in the past, which I can't really feel too much sympathy for people angry that things are going up in value, because at some point this stuff is all very old, and the idea of a sealed copy of a 30-year-old game is preposterous in a lot of ways. But like, it's just getting gross, and it's getting I mean, like all the comparisons to the sports card market and coins and comics and all this other stuff are starting to make a lot more sense, because those all went this way, I think, in a lot of in different eras. And yeah, it's just kind of sick.
What a bummer.
Even as someone who has like ended up with quite a like I own a fair number of sealed video games at this point, but even I'm just like, ugh. But also I want to rip these people off for everything they're worth. Like the people that are out there trying to drive these prices up, like how can I get over on them with my sealed games?
Right.
Yeah.
While that bubble exists, can I fuck these people over in some way and also do okay with a chunk of money? I found a sealed copy of Luminous and Tony Hawk's Underground or like Thug World Tour, whatever the PSP version of Tony Hawk, and that PSP copy of Luminous and a PSP copy of Wipeout Pure. Was that the PSP one?
Yes, it was. It was good.
Found those in my garage.
Wipeout Pure mentioned twice in one podcast.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. And so I don't know. Like we're at a point where if you want to play those video games, there are so many different ways to do so without you having to go out and buy graded, sealed copies of those games. So for the people who are getting bent out of shape because those things are going up in price, no one should be collecting that crap anyway. It's like the idea of sealed games, but even loose stuff is going up in value. And we've seen this over a number of different platforms over the years, even before this current crop of things. Like at some point, Neo Geo games just started going up. And then that caused a lot of people to kind of take an off ramp into PC Engine and TurboGrafx collecting. And then you saw that start to go up. And so you're just seeing those things happen. Like collectors get into a certain thing and the value goes up. But there was a graph I was looking at the other day saying that like pinball has gone way up in value, which is why Bacalar's not here. I think he's retired on his pinball empire. And is
what's the last frontier? What's the shitty game space no one cares about that in 5 years is going to be just
Tiger
like
games, like
Tap
the
Wave
Happy
Zodiac.
Meal,
the
Happy Meal toys that'd come out. There's a Shadow the Hedgehog one,
right? I think the market is biased in favor of popular games in a way that isn't actually sensible. If you think about actual rarity,
right?
The idea of a sealed Super Mario Brothers selling for that kind of money is preposterous because there are probably way more of those out there than there are of, say, sealed copies of Magical Chase for the TurboGrafx 16. Let's talk about a real rarity that's got real value in it. Can I do that? Can I pump and dump on a podcast? Not. Is that illegal yet?
Totally. Yeah. There's no conflict of interest there.
Yeah.
Now that should be worth $5 million at least. Or what about the 10 or so sealed copies of Sneak King I found
in
my garage?
Can I interest you in a James Bond 2?
Not until it's graded, son.
Well, my graded company,
Lucite.
My graded company, O'Dwyer's solid ass games, says this is a 10 out of 10. Look at it.
Great. All right, I'll wire the money over and
10 mil, easy.
OSAG.
I played this on the Switch recently. Isn't it? What a wild world we live in. James Bond 2 Robocod is on the Switch, and so is like Putty. Like
hell yeah!
I don't know what's Zool. Zool came out.
Yeah, right. Zool came out. Putty Squad came out for the PlayStation 4 on a disc. I have it here somewhere.
I don't know what's going. They're running out of retro games to re-release. Like, how is Cannon Fodder? Cannon Fodder is the one Amiga game, because like Speedball came out. I don't know why no one's done it. We need to get John Hare on the phone and figure out Cannon Fodder. The game's so good.
There was I didn't actually read the story, but I saw a headline saying that there was a spiritual successor to Sensible World of Soccer coming along very shortly.
I think I played it, but it was a month ago. Okay, I'll look that up. But I remember playing something recently that was like that.
Yeah. So I think I feel like that if you do enough times, which they did it. I remember the week I got fired, the first game I paid money for was the Sensible Soccer that came out for Xbox Live Arcade. I was that bored, and I was like, what even is this? I'm not even sure what Sensible Soccer is. And then I played it for like 20 minutes. And I'm like, what the fuck is this?
It got taken down. It went up that morning, and I was like refreshing the page. and then it got taken down because there was something wrong with it for like 6 hours. So for a while, I think I was like the only person in the world who was playing SWAS on the Xbox 360.
Nice.
It's good. It's a good
Nice. Yeah, you're right though. There's like the idea, like Zool was the one for me of just like, I remember Zool being big in magazines when it came out or whatever, because it like looked cool and it was
Looked
like
cool,
a
yeah.
Cool ninja
mascot
looking
game and all this stuff. But it was
Chupa
it
Chups.
eventually, yeah, you couldn't, and they took that out. That's not in the re-release.
Oh, did they not? Yeah, but that makes
Oh,
sense.
The
What?
license didn't carry over.
How do they not have
Like-
a license of Chupa Chups?
I know.
Has Cool Spot come out on anything since? Has Cool
No,
Spot?
because
No?
you'd have to go to 7-Up and get the license again. To do
Oh, of
it.
course, that legitimately was.
Yeah.
Soccer Kid
Yeah.
should come
But
out.
that's-
Soccer Kid's real good.
But the Noid's back. Like we could see a new Noid
Right.
game at any moment.
The Noidverse.
Is the Noid also
Yeah.
7-Up?
No, that's Domino's.
That's Domino's. Who is the other one? There's it's like Milo Wilo or something. Who's the guy? The 7-Up?
No, he was Cheetos, right? Was he? No, he was Sprite. That was the Sprite guy. What the fuck is that guy's name? It's not Wilo Milo,
What?
but it's
Something
it
like
might
that,
as well be
right?
that.
But we didn't have 7-Up. So
And he's like a wavy little line art guy.
Yeah.
Dito.
Dito. There
Yeah.
you go. That's him.
Sprite is 7-Up in.
He
Europe,
did
I
that
think,
song
right?
that Eminem sampled.
So 7-Up is too many mascots.
Yeah, well,
Why
there's
does it have all these?
Uncola, so they have the unmasked.
Pepsi only has CM Punk.
Yeah, and Dr. Ruth.
The hell is the
Dr. Ruth was in a Pepsi commercial in the 90s.
Who's Dr. Ruth?
Oh shit.
Dr. Ruth Westheimer is a sex advice lady, and she's been
Yeah, look her
she's
up.
still
Yeah,
she's
look
still
her up.
around. Yeah, she's
Oh, she is still around. She's 93. She's
Yeah.
German.
yeah. Dr. Ruth.
Look at
Everyone knows who is Dr. Ruth. Man,
She was a sniper.
fucking A. You gotta be.
I'm on a website and I just came across Sprite Boy. Kid looks terrifying.
Sprite Boy. That's
We need to bring back all the mascots. Polaroid Pete, everybody.
Oh my God, Sprite Boy.
Oh,
Jesus.
what? I like the name of this guy. Little Squirt.
Oh shit, little
Mhm.
squirt.
Yeah. Oh man, Little Squirt. 1940s. I messed with this kid.
Wait, Sprite Boy is a Coke
Yeah.
mascot, not even
This
a
is
Sprite
insane.
He looks terrifying.
He looks
More
fucking
for
terrible.
home.
God, no wonder they went to the polar bears for Coke.
Coke means Coca-Cola. Don't tell the cops.
Oh my God, you can buy a retro savings box, which is like a modeled head of Sprite Boy. Oh my God.
I don't like this.
I got you.
I don't
This is
like
your housewarming gift, Jeff.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Etsy.
Where's, Dan Cortez of Burger King fame. Can we make a Dan Cortez Burger King commercial where he brings popcorn to a table and then kicks the camera while yelling boom?
oh yeah. Damn.
Just real MTV sports it up. All right, that's it for
Yep.
news.
Thank God.
That's it for Sprite Boy.
Thank God.
No more Sprite Boy ever again.
Yeah. it's-
Let's take a break. We'll come back and we'll read some emails. How about that?
Please.
Woo.
It is the year 2021. Unbelievably, we have made it this far, and we're still here. So maybe it's time we started taking care of ourselves in a variety of different ways. I know you're out there like, I'm taking my vitamins. I'm on my stationary bike. I'm doing a spin class in the basement. Like, no. But also, what about your brain box, your mind, your mental health, Think about it. You're struggling upstairs? A lot of people are. If you're not feeling like your normal self, hey, what about therapy? Huh? It's like a workout for your mind. No, look, therapy, it doesn't have to be sitting around talking about your feelings, all this other stuff. Therapy can be whatever you need it to be if you find the right therapist. And that can be the tricky part, right? That's where BetterHelp comes in. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that can offer video, phone, or even live chat sessions with your therapist, So you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. Basically, whatever you're looking to get out of therapy, BetterHelp is trying to find the right thing for you. And it can be more affordable than in-person therapy, so you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. Join the millions of people who are seeing what therapy is really about and see if it's for you, because you are your greatest asset. It's true. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and you can get 10% off your first month over at betterhelp.com/bombcast. That's betterhelp.com/bombcast. There are only 2 FDA-approved medications that can prevent hair loss, and Keeps offers both. That's right, Keeps offers a simple, stress-free way for you to keep your hair. Visit a doctor virtually. You don't have to leave your home. They will deliver these medications straight to your door every 3 months. Treatments start at just $10 a month because Keeps offers generic versions. This is the same ingredients used in the big expensive stuff, but they pass that savings, as they say, on to you in discreet packaging with proven results. Keeps has more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors. Prevention is key. Treatments can take 4 to 6 months to see results, so act now. If you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/bomb to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's keeps.com/bomb to get your first month free. keeps.com/bomb. That's Keeps.
All righty. Here it is, guys. Now it's fine glory. It's emails. Bombcast@giantbomb.com is where you should send your emails, and then perhaps I will read them here.
Hope he reads my one.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Including this one from Adam from Winnipeg. I just realized listening to last week's podcast that Johnny Gat is just the mid to late 2000s version of Duke Nukem. The people who stan Johnny the way some people stan Duke suck in just the same way.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
There's something, yeah.
He is sincere, but the world in which he inhabits is not. Whereas Duke Nukem, the sincerity is all the way through. Duke thinks he's a badass, and the game thinks he's a badass. I don't know if Saints Row thinks Johnny Gat's
like
cool.
Statues and shit of Duke around, whereas I can't decide if Saints Row thinks Johnny Gat is cool.
I think they think he's cool because they made a fucking game about him.
Right?
Yeah, you can save him. You bring him out of hell. You fly through hell to get him. They have some value in Johnny Gat.
But I guess Johnny Gat always sucked, and Duke Nukem, there was a time there in the 90s that Duke Nukem fit right in. You know?
Because the 90s sucked.
I mean, that's a larger, I could see.
That's a larger, the 90s.
I could see that. I could see that argument being made. There are things from the 90s I like.
Of course.
Maybe I suck.
I mean, yeah, we lived our lives during that. Certainly
The
things
pigs
that
were pigs.
happened.
Get it? The pigs were.
He was in a strip club. Remember?
He was.
Remember him pissing?
Yeah, you piss
Remember
a lot.
him pissing?
You play pool and then piss, and then give.
It was
the
cool that
ladies
you could move
money.
the pool balls around. And
That was cool.
and at the time, it was cool that you could piss.
Yeah. And then Postal 2 came out and just blew up that piss game. You could piss. You could piss anytime you want.
Then you could, by the time Postal 2 came out, like the piss wasn't cool anymore.
Then the
now we've wrapped back around.
And you'd fill up the piss meter, and you would actually piss, and people could slip in the piss, yourself included.
That was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool.
You could piss
Now
in
piss
people's
is cool
faces
again.
in Postal.
This has come around.
Postal 1 was neat. Everything past that.
I love Postal 2 so much. Postal 2 is an immersive sim.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Yeah, I mean, I guess.
You guys had fun in
Okay.
Ireland, huh?
I mean, yeah, the sun's up late, which means you can't go outside. You don't want to get a sunburn. So,
Gotta play Postal 2. Throw
Gotta
those
play
diseased
Postal
cow
2.
heads. Watch
Yeah.
people get sick. Blood out of their mouths. It's a fun time.
did you? I mean, I'm trying to like line up what era this is probably not the same eras, but in my mind, I see you like wearing a hoodie, hunched over a computer, playing Postal 2, and listening to Korn all at the same time. That's not the same.
It's pretty accurate. It's early aughts. It's post 9/11. It's that era. I mean, that game is very problematic in lots of ways.
Oh, sure. Yes.
Lots of ways, but it's if you're a if you're a piece of shit like I was and always will be, I'm just like a milquetoast echo of that piece of shit, sort of as I get older. Then sure, you can
Relatable.
throw scissors at people, and you can swing a shovel and their heads come off, and then you can kick their heads around town and watch people freak out. You can then
That's just
pour
good
gas
stuff.
on the head, set the head on fire, and then kick it at other people, and then they go on fire, and then you can put them out with your piss.
It is a sim.
It's an immersive sim.
It's real life personified. See, Postal 1 had that isometric kind of like camera angle that I think like removed it from. So Postal 2, I just remember it being janky and fucked up and not like behaving the way a proper video game should, and just being like, this is fucking terrible.
Yeah,
I never got to experience any of that immersive fun because like the initial barrier to entry was just too much, right? Of just like, I can't get past the part where this just sucks. Whereas Postal 1, you could hit a button and he would say, only my weapons understand me. And then he would turn the gun on himself and shoot himself. You could just do that. And we would just do that. We would just hit that button over and over again and crack up every time.
So your Postal 2 is hatred.
Yes, exactly. Finally, a proper follow-up to Postal 1 was made. And thank God it was hatred. Hatred is just a shitty video game.
Didn't we?
Yeah, we did. It's just a shitty video game.
Hatred. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
like it had all
were
this
so
controversy, and
innocent.
people were like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this is like." Yeah, I know. Also, that was the whole point of the game they made. So, you like, of course,
Right.
congratulations on saying that, and getting more people to care about fucking hatred of all things. This game's just a piece of shit. It's just fucking bad. And I say that as someone who fucking kind of liked Postal 1. It fucking sucked. All right. Is this this person says their name is Nom? I don't know that I believe that. I notice you guys like to talk about food and drink a lot. And was wondering what your thoughts on virtual brands in restaurants. A second brand available exclusively through delivery apps, like a Grubhub and so on, ran out of the existing kitchen of a restaurant, usually a national chain. So this is like how Chuck E. Cheese had a different name on delivery apps that were just like, in fact, is he listed here? He's not listed. Oh yeah, Pasquale's Pizza and Wings.
Because nobody wants to order Chuck E. Cheese.
Who the fuck's gonna order Chuck E. Cheese? I feel like that's the deceptive one. But he has a list here.
News
the
to
point
me.
of yes, yeah.
That's
So
the whole thing.
yeah, it's like they're just like these
Yeah.
shitty chain restaurants starting up operations under a different name, but only on delivery apps, hoping to attract people that think it's just like their cool local restaurant because you never have to see the location. And so
Right.
the first one of these I remember getting any kind of notoriety was the Pasquale's Pizza and Wings. But he's got a whole list here. It's Just Wings. That's Chili's. Tender Shack. That's Outback Steakhouse.
Wow.
I'm dreading hearing any.
Yeah,
name
one
here.
of yours is gonna hit. You're gonna be like, shit, I've been ordering.
Hayward's Hen House is Famous Dave's. I've never heard of either of those.
Famous Dave's. That's a
Famous
red
Dave's.
place.
I don't know what Famous Dave's is. The Burger Den and The Meltdown. Those are both Denny's.
Oh
Wow.
Why would you not just go to Denny's?
Yeah, I think like the stigma, the idea that there's a stigma
On Denny's.
Get out.
Now, see if they brought back, like, if I could get the Hoobastank Hooburrito, but only from a delivery app, I'd get Denny's.
You got to buy that.
I probably
would
would not.
Hoobastank's website.
Okay. Well,
Heat it up.
not going to go there. Hope they'll put me on some kind of list. Wild Burger is Buffalo Wild Wings.
Okay.
At least
down.
they're like, they're kind of winking at you a little bit. That's
Yeah, that one's got a little bit. And then there's another one that's like it's less of a hidden thing, but it's something I saw that is Thigh Stop.
Oh yes,
That's just
100% Thigh Stop.
It's Wingstop, but on a delivery app, you can order from Wingstop, or you could go to Thigh Stop and I guess get thighs.
Yes, and it's so good. It's bad that all the seasoning works, but on thighs.
So I got boneless, and it was just a bunch of chunks of chicken, and it was way more chicken than I thought it was going to be.
You're going to get more bang for your buck, baby.
I just kind of,
bang for your cluck.
I guess I wanted a deboned. I probably should have just got the bone. Yeah, well, yeah. Probably should have just got the chicken with bones, because the idea of here's a straight up piece of chicken and it's a thigh, and it's got the Wingstop seasoning on it. That was like, oh, that sounds interesting. But what I got was a gigantic vat of, boneless. I guess it's thigh meat in theory. That's what they claimed it was, and I found that to be very underwhelming.
Oh man!
But
maybe you just need the bone.
Maybe I just need the bone, Jan.
Tell me about it.
I feel like I've seen Wingstop on here though. Are they?
Wingstop is a real
both?
Yes,
yeah.
Yes, they'll do both.
Place.
So it's like Wingstop.
Thigh Stop online though.
Okay.
You roll up to the restaurant, be like, "I want some thighs." They're gonna look at you funny.
Yeah, they're gonna be like,
the Thigh Stop logo is literally the same. Like,
yeah. So they're not trying to. Yeah, they're not trying to hide that one. I think that's just like, hey, we're doing a special promotion. Yeah, for that stuff. That's not a secret.
What was the Denny's one?
The Burger Den and the Meltdown.
Yeah, the Meltdown. No.
Yep.
This is completely foreign to me. I've never heard of this.
Really?
This is crazy.
Look at that, the Burger Den.
Denny's not known for their hamburgers, so I could see like that as a spin-off making sense, because you're not going to go, I want a hamburger and I want it delivered from some...
It straight up says it. It's at the bottom. It says Burger Den is a concept by Denny's Incorporated.
Okay, yeah. So I think as these started to get kind of known, there was
like
a little more like there was a little bit more of a okay, fine, I get you. Well,
yeah. Isn't there the one YouTuber that has like he has food now?
Yeah. So there's also the whole ghost kitchen
thing
concept where there's just like some black box, in the middle of nowhere that is preparing food, and then they are branding it with some influencer or whatever else like that. That's kind of a different thing. And with
those I think we've ordered from, because we've noticed that some of the places will have like the same address for whatever reason.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And whether so they've got different storefronts, but they probably all make the same stuff or make the stuff in the same kitchen. I can see that. But
there's a Wild Burger on here. There's a Wild Burger.
That's nuts.
Nothing on here that says that it's not just
B-dubs.
Just Buffalo Wild Wings. I got to look here. Tender Shack. Nope, no Tender Shack, but also no Outback.
One of the things that hit me when I went, because I was in Ireland for 3 weeks and I was using food apps to get some stuff delivered, and it was the realization
that Irishman that hit you, because they fight a lot. I'm sorry.
Hey, that's an Irish American thing. We're actually pretty chill.
Okay.
But they had it was the realization that all of the like app like pictures are just templates that they use. You know, like because like I know like in America, I don't know, I'm not as tied into how things work here. Whereas in Ireland, I fucking know that the local Turkish place isn't fucking taking nice pictures of their donor meat and chips. Like they're gonna look
right.
But like on the app, they're like gorgeous. And but you could scan through it and it was just like, dirty corner food place after Dirty Corner food place, but they all had like beautiful like app frontages, and they're like, oh, you just like pick from a selection, I guess, and then they give it to you. Like, okay.
One of my favorite food app things is sometimes like if a place doesn't have a logo because it's a local restaurant or something like that, it'll just like show a picture of the food by default. But some places don't have pictures of the food, but they'll have pictures of the drinks. And so you scroll by and just see like, here's an Indian restaurant and the logo it's a fucking Coke can. You're like, all right, let's get that.
Somebody needs to get their niece or nephew to like update. Could you do the thing on the app?
We have to do the menu. I don't know how this works. That stuff. Yeah, that stuff. A lot of people writing in talking about various food crimes and other such things. Alex in Australia says, "Hey, I have some potential food crimes. I need judgment passed on. I'm curious to try a curry, say a butter chicken or a beef madras, but instead of served with rice, it's on pasta.
Hell yeah!
I think it'd be good.
Oh yeah,
that'd probably all right.
Yeah, it's not authentic at all. But
no,
I've had chicken tikka masala on a pizza, and that was delicious.
Generation remix,
that's
baby.
Weird, but
Jay Allard was right.
Nothing wrong with it.
I think that's tame, if anything.
Yeah.
What kind of cheese? What do you put? What do you put chicken tikka masala for pizza? Like, what do you?
Just
is there cheese on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there regular sauce on it too, or no?
It's
just
tikka masala sauce.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would. Normally, when I'm getting like a chicken on a pizza, I'm usually trying to get barbecue sauce instead of regular sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of pizza, Derek from Ottawa. I've been making my own basic-ass pizza for a long time, but I'm too cheap to buy 2 types of cheese from the grocery store. That means I only make pizza with cheddar cheese, and after ordering pizza last week, I realized that cheddar is far superior to mozzarella. So my question is, what's the point of mozzarella anyway? It's bland as hell. Thank you. Please try cheddar on your next pizza. It's way better. Derek from Ottawa. Derek, fuck you.
Whoa.
You hear that?
I don't know. Yeah.
He's right. I mean, mozzarella is just cheaper, right?
It's cheaper.
I like mozzarella cheese.
Cheese sticks out of it.
I like mozzarella sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have cheddar sticks.
No, it's too expensive. Costs too
I
much.
like string cheese.
Cheddar's better. Stronger.
Cheddar's good. Look at my fucking face. I don't have a problem with cheddar cheese. But if I'm getting
would that be overwhelming?
Well,
would that be too
seems
much?
like, yeah, I don't know. It might be.
Why not just use Velveeta? Because it melts better than cheddar.
Yeah.
Spread out of a can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Just write your name and spray cheese on the top of some bread, and there you go.
Happy birthday.
Pizza.
Yeah.
I don't need to try this.
What's the worst cheese you could put on a pizza?
Like feta.
No, it still works.
Ooh, imagine halloumi on a pizza. Just the whole thing.
Because I don't know how that is.
One slice. It's like a cold. Oh God, I don't know what heated halloumi is.
What
like.
about the weird maggot cheese that they don't let them make anymore? Where's that?
Yeah, that sounds bad.
Yeah,
there's some town where it is known, and they have tried to lock down on it. It is cheese that they ferment by having flies land on it and poop it out. And maggots.
Asu marzu.
It still might be okay.
Sardinia.
I'd say maybe head cheese, but head cheese isn't technically cheese. It's just cheese in name.
What the fuck is head cheese mean over here? Because I think it might mean something different where I'm from.
Oh,
that's true. It's a double meaning, but
clean your shit, man.
It's cold cuts. Cold cuts.
Cold. Okay.
It is a deli meat.
Yeah.
Head. Oh, it's a meat. Head cheese.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But now thinking about it, it might be okay on a pizza.
It comes from heads,
like a fromunda, something like that. Pierce writes in from Marquette and says, back in high school, I used to love a drink called Red Fusion that no one else did, and so it was always in stock in our soda machines. I vaguely recall it was like Dr. Pepper mixed with cherry cough syrup. They only made it for a year or so. That does sound good.
Marquette,
what's your favorite drink?
Marquette.
Michigan. That MI is Mississippi or is it Michigan?
That's Michigan. Okay. This sounds familiar.
Yeah. What's your favorite drink that you can't get anymore?
Old Coke Zero.
Yeah. Well, you don't like this new
Red
flat
Pop.
stuff?
No. Terrible.
Did they
That's
change
fine.
Coke Zero? Why did they change Coke Zero?
changed Coke Zero so
I
that
don't
they
know.
can bring back old Coke Zero as Coke Zero Classic.
I
Because there are
can't
no new
tell the
ideas.
difference.
Yeah, no, it just tastes like flat soda somehow. Like even though it's not
Really?
flat, it just somehow the taste of it is flat. It's weird. And they're like, it tastes more like real Coke. It's like if I wanted real Coke, I'd drink
Might
real Coke.
be because of the copious amounts of rum that I put in it. I can't.
Yeah,
tell.
that's gonna
That'll
knock
do it.
that flavor off it a little bit.
Yeah. All right.
I liked Jolt
Red-
when Jolt first came
Jolt?
out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, Vault Zero. Vault Zero. Good Lord. That shit was so good. It was like a extreme Mountain Dew.
Right,
Huh.
that sounds
It came in a black can. It was awesome.
right.
That shit
Yes,
was fucking amazing.
we
When
talked
they
about
were starting to
Brondo.
phase them out, my wife bought me like everything that they had at the grocery store. There's like 20 12 packs that we had. I made them last as long as I could.
Sparks.
Oh.
I miss Sparks.
Sparks, yeah. There was the time that I wanted to be sponsored by Sparks.
Oh man, could you
That time
We
is
were running a
still now.
podcast and we'd talk about Sparks all the time, and
Yeah,
we need to get sponsored by Sparks.
Sparks
never
is.
reached
I mean, even, we need to bring back the real shit.
Fucking alcohol and caffeine, man.
Yeah. America
think about-
is
Good
lagging
mix.
behind in this. We're losing whatever the space race of caffeinated alcohol is. Danny, did you drink any dragon soup, or did you find any? You mentioned you didn't see any Buckfast, but did you acquire any highly caffeinated alcohol while you were?
While I was there,
overseas?
I actually did run into. They've started selling Four Loko in Ireland.
Yeah.
But it's like it has hardly any alcohol and hardly any caffeine in it. So
That's
but I was
better than here
shocked.
because here it's got the
It's not
alcohol
that
but
crazy.
no caffeine. So it's,
Oh, there's
you
no
know,
caffeine.
it's-
Maybe it is zero.
No.
Then I don't know, but I
Yeah,
thought it
'cause
had.
that's the there was someone I was the Lant. No, I forget what site it was, but there's an oral history of Four Loko out there with quotes from the people who made it as well as the people who drank it.
Need a
There's so
podcast
many.
series on that.
I feel like there's so many. Like we should do an Ireland trip when this is all blown over because there's so many like beautiful sodas that never made it over here.
Yeah.
Like your TKs and like Lucasade, I guess probably like it's
There was a
Um,
store up the street from the original GameSpot office on Clement Street that had Lucasade, and I would go up there and get it. And then one time I bought one that had a ton of chunks in it, like it was wheat, or
that's not good.
I think it was supposed to be there.
Oh God, I've never seen that. That's terrifying.
That's
Okay,
Chunks.
well, maybe it was old because it got imported, but I don't know.
Sidona. You guys don't have any good apple soft drinks?
Mm.
Sidona's a good one.
There's Manzanita
no.
Soul, which is sold in some
Okay.
dollar stores.
Oh, sure.
That's a pretty good apple soda.
I think Sidona's an Irish only thing. And then Lilt. You guys don't have Lilt either,
No,
which is a pineapple mango, I think,
Ooh.
kind of soft drink. I think it's made by the
Okay.
Coca-Cola company. It's all over
Really?
Europe.
A
Yeah,
cactus
Lilt.
cooler, perhaps.
Oh, totally tropical
Cactus
taste,
Cooler.
man.
Yeah.
Get that
Cactus
Lilt.
Cooler was like one of the
So cooler.
that was one of the like E3 drive things of like as soon as you get over the Grapevine and down into like Castaic and stuff like that, you're like, oh, if we stop here, they're definitely gonna have Cactus Cooler, and we need to bring that's like on our
Cactus
way out of
Cooler.
town. You'd stop and get it. It's like a pineapple-y,
No mango. in
citrusy
it, though.
soda thing. Yeah, no mango, but
Do you ever have
Cactus
a?
Cooler is sickly sweet.
How about a Vimto or a Tizer?
I've heard of Tizer. I don't know what a
Okay.
Vimto is. That sounds like I should fight you for calling me that.
You're a Vimto.
There's a lot of British sodas. Is Orangina over here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
think
this here.
so, yeah.
Okay. What else?
It's kind of disgusting, but I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what I mean. I guess like yeah, we could go over there for crisps and sodas.
Yeah.
Get some quavers.
Have some Tato.
Yeah.
Packs of Tato.
Was it PK Skips? Is that the brand that sponsored Action Biker for the Commodore 64?
Jesus
There's PJ Tips, which is a type of tea, and then there's Skips, which is a crisp.
Maybe
and they sponsored Pushover on the Amiga. So maybe also the game you talked about.
I'm just going to type in action.
Oh no, that was
crisp.
that was Quavers. Sorry, I don't know what Skips did. Quavers was Pushover. There's a lot of
KP Skips.
I don't know.
Or just
Yeah,
Skips.
Skips.
But I guess
okay.
They're
like yellow, kind of.
Yeah.
Their Skips are fucking great. They melt in your mouth.
Yeah.
I think KP is a company. They do like nuts.
Yeah, KP is the company. Yeah, I guess they at that point in '85 they maybe referred to it as KP Skips. Anyway. Yeah, I liked the original run of Jolt when it was just like this super underground thing that like was hard to find. And they had these really whacked out TV ads and all this stuff. That was pretty good. There was a Hubba Bubba soda.
Oh,
like the bubble gum.
No,
it was disgusting. It was fucking disgusting.
Sounds awful.
Like, so me and my friend Zach, we would hang out on the weekends and like have sleepovers and stuff. And so we would go rent a bunch of movies and a bunch of games. And then we would go buy a bunch of different cans of soda and then, mix them all together. And the Hubba Bubba soda, you could put in like a little bit of it and it would improve the flavor of a drink. But if you went overboard, it overpowered the entire flavor of it and destroyed it. It was you had to be very careful with the Hubba Bubba. Been in Boston. Yeah. These very experimental sleepovers. What would you like to see in Nintendo's next real new console? Not just an updated Switch. Nintendo often does something weird, so will they surprise us again, or will we get something like a Switch 2? I don't know. What do you think? I mean, is there a... What if they did a Switch, but the second screen was see-through because it was all AR?
Okay.
And so it was like clear glass that would project...
So why not Virtual Boy 2? And it's see-through.
Why not Virtual Boy 2?
Like,
but it's AR. It's augmented boy.
Would you trust Nintendo to implement
Virtual
like
Boy
wireless connection into it though?
No,
they would.
No, it's not actually a screen. It's just that there's a bunch of cardboard slides that you put in that you make yourself.
Just a ViewMaster.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that now that they've kind of unified the console and the handheld stuff into one device, I don't know that I see them going back.
Right.
And maybe especially now if the right idea is there. But like, I don't see them getting to a point where they're like spinning back out. Like maybe the Switch becomes the more handheld focused, and they've got a weirder thing that hooks up to TVs, or a weirder standalone thing that becomes their portable because it's a VR. I don't see them chasing after that sort of stuff, and I wonder if it just becomes controller type stuff or like input related and less about the form factor of the device.
I would love to see them get back to the sort of early like zero load time beauty of like N64 and cartridge stuff. You know what I mean? Like somehow create like if that's the next evolution, that it just be that sort of like super snappy SSD thing, because I feel like I'm missing that on the Switch. There's a lot of loading.
Yeah, load times.
But like cool. It's hard to dream big at the moment because like you can't even get a fridge. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to
right. And also like you have VR out there as a thing that is totally a thing and available, but also doesn't necessarily seem like the future of video games in a way that you're like, oh, well, here's clearly the path that Nintendo would be on, or like the AR stuff that like they tried with Magic Leap, not Leap Motion. That's the finger to the Magic Leap device, like that type of AR or HoloLens, like those sorts of things. I think at a moment in time, you looked at stuff like that and you're like, maybe this could be the thing. But it doesn't seem like that's going to pan out anytime soon. Like that stuff will matter eventually, but like, I don't know, man. Like the Minecraft demo I took for HoloLens is still one of the most impressive things I've done.
That's so cool. I remember that. That was like the wildest shit. That was like,
where
oh
you're
my
just
god,
like, this is Minecraft on a table in front of me, and I can walk around it and get different angles on it, and I'm a character walking around in that environment, and I can make that big or small and change that size. They also had another demo that was like a shooter type thing, like a whack-a-mole type thing, where basically holes started appearing in the walls of the room you were in, and enemies started popping out and shooting at you.
Cool.
And it's just fucking crazy. And like the Magic Leap stuff, they worked with Weta on a thing that like it's crazy when it all works just right, but also it feels like very gimmicky and not something that always lends itself well to the wide variety of games. I mean, think about like the types of games that are coming out today, and the studios that are making them, and the big AAA stuff that still comes out, the big free-to-play online shooters, the things that are still super popular right now, all the way down to you've got like single devs making something like an Axiom Verge 2, or just like the different types of indie games that are chasing after like the modern version of a SNES game or whatever, and then try to totally throw away all of those games because you've implemented some kind of whack display technology or controller that basically makes a device that kind of can't play those games as well, or can't take advantage of that tech in a way that is maybe super interesting or maybe like amazing. Like, I think it just gets weird right now when you factor in, well, they have to make a device that developers will develop for, and they have to make a device that will work in a multi-platform world. So anything that gets too weird, you then have to go out and sell to third parties as to why they should care about it and why they should make games for it in a world where every other device is, a traditional gaming machine.
Which they had that problem before, but it sounds like today it's even more like homogenized, right? So it's
exactly. So
the Wii U and the Wii and all that stuff had its own stuff going. Not even the GameCube, but like it is harder.
Not so much the Virtual Boy. I mean.
Yeah. If you had, and I think that's some of the stuff that you ran into with VR stuff, and whatever, VR's fine, but it's doing okay, and there's still people out there making things for it and all that, but it didn't hit the way that, like, in your mind 10 years ago, 20 years ago, when you thought about virtual reality and what it would do to the world. It didn't do that. Doesn't mean it's a failure, but it's not how anyone thought that this would go. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not how I thought it would go. I thought virtual of like an actual affordable, functional virtual reality. Like, I was playing VR stuff the first time around in the early 90s, and it sucked shit, but it was still mind blowing. But
it's gonna be like Mega Man Battle Network. They're gonna have like a cable that you pull out of your little Switch-like thing, and you gotta yell "Jack in," and then your Navi that you've bonded with, your soul, gonna jump into whatever you are going into. It's gonna happen. Or giant dual discs like Yu-Gi-Oh.
All right.
Slap those bad boys on your wrists.
Yeah.
That could equally happen.
Any of those. Just a fancy Tamagotchi. There you go. That's the future of video games. A fancier Tamagotchi.
I have one of those. She's 3. I want a break.
Make sure you keep feeding it. Let me tell you. Crawford writes in and says, "Yo, do you ever think Microsoft will let you install Windows onto an Xbox? Is that possible? And what do you think is stopping them?"
Why would you want to?
Totally. Yeah, that's the thing.
I'm sure you can. Right. But why?
Right. Yeah. But like, what's the benefit? Are you gonna plug a mouse and keyboard into it and then like run Excel on it, or like what are we? Like, what's the goal?
Solitaire.
I'm sure you can.
If you want to do that, if you want to do that, there are better devices to do it. So I think that's like selling the Xbox as a purpose-built, like, hey, this is for gaming, probably benefits.
Yeah. Doesn't have this whole OS layer that's taking all this resource and working on all these specific driver problems and all that stuff. It seems like most of the work Windows would do is redundant.
Right.
I mean,
there's definitely shared.
If you want to do that, buy a computer. You should buy a computer.
Or an Atari VCS. Which, that's
right. Or VCS.
But I mean, yes, the at the bottom layer of the Xbox, there is a lot of Windows there. There's still, similar code, all that stuff, DirectX, whatever.
Get to Minesweeper.
Marlon from Fargo writes in and says, Jason brought up Tenchu this week, which is a name I hadn't thought of in years. I loved the first 2 on PlayStation 1, but never played another. Good. Did that series stay good? There's a few questions here. We'll take them one by one. Did Tenchu stay good? I feel like by the later ones, I was, they had maybe gotten away from it a little bit, but those first couple of Tenchu games were so pure and the grappling stuff was so cool.
Stealth was awesome.
The rooftops and shit. Yeah. All the sound
story
effects.
was decent. Man. Yeah, music and the sound effects. Yeah. God, it just had a style to it. I remember when Ghost of Tsushima came out, I remember feeling, this isn't the same because it's at a much more frenetic pace, but like it gave me similar vibes of like being able to get to the top of a building and look around to what's going on and plan a bit. It wasn't as like high stakes or anything as Tenchu Stealth Assassins, but I remember thinking, this actually kind of gets me closer to a lot of the other games, and obviously thematically.
Yeah. I remember being told, and it would have been, it wasn't firsthand from someone at From or anything like that, but it was seemed very convincing that Sekiro was at one point going to be called Tenchu, that they were.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah.
But I don't know.
Because there's stealth in that game in which there isn't in basically every other From game. Like kind of, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like there's reeds you hide in Sekiro, and getting on rooftops and having critical hits. You jump down on people, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
I could see Sekiro like skewed further in the Tenchu direction. Like it's got a lot of that, right? But like if they had gone to a little bit further, I probably would have liked that game a lot more. But yeah, I remember hearing that at the time, that like that was almost like 11th hour kind of like pullback. Because Activision did Activision publish?
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be.
Oh, yeah.
I want to say Activision ended up with the Tenchu name at some point, didn't they?
Pretty sure.
Ricky Maru, that was the name.
I'm looking
at
IMA. Yeah, Activision did publish a Tenchu game. They purchased the rights from Sony Music Entertainment. Oh, and they sold the rights to From in 2004.
Oh.
That's crazy. There you go.
Lots of speculation.
So if you want your smoke and fire type of situation, that seems like maybe. Yes, Tenchu was cool. I think Sekiro probably does a lot of that stuff, but it's a little less sandboxy, right? I think the cool thing about Tenchu was like it was a little more free form. You could fuck up, you could. And Sekiro is a brutal, murderous motherfucker of a game. I like that about it, but it's, All right, let's get a couple more here. Jeff from Nashville writes in and says, I don't know why I took this email. It's just like, all right. My family lives in a small town in a southern state where Zac Efron's aunt, uncle, and cousins coincidentally live. As such, my mom, friends with the aforementioned aunt, attended a garage sale and asked if I wanted a lightly used GameCube, to which I replied, of course, because who doesn't need a GameCube? I am now in possession of Zac Efron's cousin's GameCube.
I thought it was going to be Zac Efron's GameCube.
No, that would be, I mean, that would be a much cooler, but I mean, cool. There's a chance that Zac Efron touched that GameCube.
It's true.
Totally. Could have came over for some Smash. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, fuck a lot of stuff. Like, put that on eBay.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Damn.
Picture of Zac Efron.
Buy
an autographed picture of Zac Efron and include it with the auction. Do any of you have really fun stories or interesting stories about how you acquired any of your gaming devices or other items? I told the story about my stupid John Carmack autographed Dreamcast a billion times.
Oh, yeah.
So that's
right
good,
up there.
That's a good dumb one. Danny, I saw a video of you with an NBA Jam machine.
Yeah.
Did you get the Reds fixed on that?
No, not yet. Because
maybe the Reds are not visible. I don't know. I can't.
You wouldn't have known, I guess.
It's fine to me.
I have talked to Mr. Lynn about it. We're gonna solve that.
Nice.
Yeah, I haven't had time to touch it since I got back. I remember when I worked in GameStop, I got so much secondhand hardware. Anything that was traded in, we had a huge, almost like I think it was like 30% off software and 20% off hardware, something if it was used. So that was the way to get anything, was work at a GameStop and fill up your library that way. It was the best.
And then on top of that, like a full third of the things that got traded in had weed hidden in it somewhere, right?
Yeah. Your BMX Triple X was a pretty common weed one. And then some stuff, like I mentioned this before, some stuff would have a weird SKU on it and wouldn't be on the database. So you would scan it in at a low general rate. So if it was a DVD, because they also did movies, right? It was a DVD box set maybe that never made it to Ireland, but it was in the UK, or a special edition of a game often happened. So you'd basically have like a playbook that you would scan in like, oh, it's like this one or that one, but they were all way depreciated. So like I remember getting like box sets and special editions of games that would come in, get scanned for like $10 and basically be put to the side. And if we didn't put them out, they'd be sent off to headquarters and they'd reevaluate them and then put them out. Yeah. But while they're in that bucket, they were free game for us to just get and then get our 30% discount on. So sometimes shit would come in and like you'd be in this is like the water problem. You'd be in this situation, right, where somebody's scanning in this thing and they're scanning it in with like 10 other games and they're getting absolute shit for this one that's like probably good. And then you're thinking, okay, but if they scan it,
buy this later.
I can buy this. Yeah. So it's like a conflict. So if like someone's like, mom came in with a bunch of shit, it was like, whatever. But then sometimes you'd be like, look, man, you're not getting shit for this. You should put this on eBay, because otherwise I can't get, you're going to get like €2 for this.
Right.
Yeah, it was a lot of shit.
And how many times would they just be like, whatever, I stole it anyway, so give me my €2.
Yeah. So we used to have people come in with like property of Waterford Library written on the inside. And you're like, come on. Like, fucking hell.
Yeah. At least pretend.
Yeah.
That it's
did I tell you about the PSP that got stolen from that store I worked in?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Bunch of kids clamored around the PSP unit at the back of the shop on a Saturday.
Nice.
And then they disappeared, and the PSP was like it had a video out, so it was on the screen, on the TV screen, and then also on the unit.
Shit.
But it had so it was connected via this big wooden thing with like, I guess it was a wooden piece of wood with like a metal like a pipe on the inside where the things were going down. And I only know this now because we walked over and somebody was like, that thing's gone. I walked over and they'd sawed through the fucking wood and metal and wires.
Oh my God.
Damn.
To get this to editor. Yeah, they were like 11-year-olds. It was like 6 or 7 of them. We were like, fair play on like a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
They were like, we couldn't hear it. We didn't see it or notice anything.
That's great. That's perfect.
Probably, I don't think the thing worked, but
no, like getting one of those to work and getting the right cables to actually. Yeah, those kiosk units are. Most kiosk units are weird in a few different ways. That like you're not just going to get it and be like, great, we got a free PSP. I don't know. I had a long running plan forming in the back of my head. The bar I used to hang out at had a tabletop Ms. Pac-Man machine. And it's a tabletop, so it's low to the ground. It's just sitting on the ground all the time, cocktail machine. And I just, you'd play one. It was like speed hacked and it was like all funky, but it was like in good shape. I was like, no one here appreciates this machine. It shouldn't even be here. This is ridiculous. I kept thinking about it more and more. I was like, one of these nights, because that place would get packed. And the last thing you would see on like a Friday or Saturday night would be 2 guys picking up a Ms. Pac-Man cocktail and walking out the front door with it. Because you would keep it low enough that they would just see the people. Like, and you'd just see two people walking out and wouldn't even notice. It was close enough to the door, but you would just have to pick a day that it was packed and that there was no bouncer out front checking IDs.
Wow.
But eventually you're there long enough and you know enough of the people, bartenders and bouncers and whatever, that like, you're just like, oh, it's Kyle out front. Whatever. He's not going to fucking say shit. I'll give him $40 and then he's going to look the other way and we're going to waltz out with this thing and no one's going to.
Perfect crime.
Yeah. And I never executed this plan, but.
You could be, because like you'll steal that and then it's like over 1,000 and then suddenly it's like larceny or something.
Right. Yeah. It's like the last thing you want to go down for is like fucking. I don't know. I feel like yes, but also if you got caught in the act, I bet you could just plea that off as just like, I'm fucking wasted. And the cops are going to be like, all right, you idiot, get out. Or they'll take you in for public intoxication. They're not going to fucking charge you with the full value of that thing unless
you were trying to move it.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, I dropped my library card under this and had to get under it to get it back because I have to go to the library. I'm reading to sick children in the morning.
Waterford Library.
Yeah,
exactly. Property. Yeah, he walks in with that thing. Property of Jim's bar. No.
Man, that thing is still there, I bet too. But now, the pandemic, got in the way of all our best plans. What are you gonna do? That's gonna do it for the show. Thanks everybody for hanging out, watching us live, or listening to us wherever you're listening to us. And we'll see you next week with the Bombcast. Come back Friday for UPF. We got other stuff coming and cooking for sure.
Thursday, we're talking over the thing.
That's right. Come back Thursday for the Sony thing. We're going to talk over that Sony thing. I mean, I bet it has to be God of War, right? I mean, that's got to be.
It's God of War.
That's got to be there at this point.
40 minutes
right?
of God of War.
Yeah.
We got some. Got some guilty treasures getting made with Mr. Jan Ochoa.
Nice.
That's next on the bill.
It's not going to be the bouncer. It is not going to be the bouncer.
Okay. All right. Looking forward to hearing about the bouncer.
Yeah. Well, we're having we'll have some info on it soon as well, but we're having a bit of a pause on Born to Run just for a little bit because I know Jeff's going to be busy for a bit and we've all these games coming in and Timur's in between places with all this stuff, so like right, okay, I'll do quick look duty for a little while here.
All that stuff gets figured out, and I'm gonna be I assume I will be here for next week's show, but past that we
shall see.
I mean, and even pre that, anything's possible at this point. The last time my wife was pregnant, she had delivered by this many weeks because we had to go early. So we are pointed. We're at the end here. So pretty much anytime now. I have to go build a rocking chair. Speaking of which, yeah. So I have to assemble it. Build is maybe a bit generous, but everyone hang in there, and we'll be back next week with more show. Come see us Thursday. All that sort of stuff. Take care. Bye.